What are you expecting? A well-run government?
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, December 13th, 2020. This is your award-winning Give Our Nation Media Assassination episode 1303.
This is No Agenda.
Blocking the Silk Road and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's never too late to remind everybody, you can always start journaling. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Journaling for fun and profit. Oh, man. We got a red alert today. Red alert, red alert. It's red alert.
What's the red alert?
The Chinese are everywhere. The Chinese are coming. The Chinese are here.
They're everywhere. We know that.
They're taking over. Oh, yeah. I am enjoying the show. Everything China. This morning, now exposed worldwide.
Who's the guy who did that little jingle for us? Don loved I can't get the tune. So loves China. I love China. There's a potential for a jingle here.
I love China. I don't know. We need a China jingle because now we have breaking news coming out of Australia, home to one of our Five Eyes friends.
But tonight I start with some breaking news that will be front page of The Australian tomorrow and big news in the UK as well. Amid rising tensions in the Australia-China relationship, there has now been a major leak of official records from the Chinese Communist Party. It is believed to be the first leak of its kind in the world. A register with the details of nearly 2 million Communist Party members. It includes their name, party position, birth date, national ID number, ethnicity, and in some cases, even their phone number. What's amazing about this database is not just that it exposes people who are members of the Communist Party and who are now living and working all over the world, from Australia to the US to the UK, but it's amazing because it lifts the lid on how the party operates.
So this came in this morning, and I immediately sent out messages like, hey, what's going on? And what I got back was, oh, if you're going to send me a message about a list, at least send the list. Oh, wait, here I have it for you. This list is it's like 10 megabytes. I put it in the show notes. And it's hosted on GitLab. And apparently there's a way to translate from the characters.
Yeah, no, there is.
I wasn't able to find it that early. Or this morning. But there are apparently Biden administration members in there. and this is the part that is too funny. Biden administration members are listed in this database, as well as, and I think this is probably more egregious, many, and up to 75,000 across the world who are not in China, many of them in the U.S. and in companies. And they have their own little fiefdom set up inside these companies. So I
was waiting for this. You know what this is a result of, right? I mean, you know where this stems from.
Well, this is the part of the Trump strategy, I think.
No, this is the CIA's get back policy. Remember that about 2 years ago when like 20 or 30 CIA agents in China were murdered? 12
were murdered, yes.
12, okay. 12 were murdered.
Yeah.
This is what this is.
Well, I would want to agree. The issue I have is that this hack is not new. This occurred quite some time ago. I'm talking like...
But was it after the 12 killed CIA people?
Yes. It was after was that 2012, I think it was, right?
It was during
Obama.
I'm thinking more like 14, but it was during Obama.
It was during Obama, yeah. So yes, definitely after that. But for this all of a sudden to come now, I think it's just part of a whole bunch of things that are coming. And of course, we didn't get to talk about it on Thursday's show. But the best part of the China link news has got to be Hunter Biden's laptop, which suddenly is now news again and spearheaded mainly by Fox. And I think that Fox News, they're probably choosing a side here. Like they don't want any implication that they might be involved with some kind of China. And this is their way of maybe attacking their rivals in the cable news business. Here's Senator Hawley.
Well, we need to get to the bottom of what exactly has gone on here with Hunter Biden. And by the way, I hope an apology will be forthcoming from the Biden campaign and from Facebook and Twitter and all these people who censored the New York Post. Turns out, guess what? The New York Post was right. Hunter Biden is under investigation for money laundering, for tax fraud, and it involves his Chinese business dealings. I want to know, is Joe Biden involved? What did the vice president know? We know that Hunter was traveling to China on a government plane in order to try to seek out business. Now he's under investigation for federal crimes for this. What did Joe Biden know, and when did he know it? He needs to answer questions.
See, all of these things fold in so nicely. I wonder, this could also be a nice push from, and that would make sense for Fox News, the Democrats who run Fox News. That would make a lot of sense because they want Joe out. They want to have Kamala, have her being the sock puppet of Obama,
that would be ideal.
I think that's what they're pushing for.
Well, maybe. I do have, related to the Hunter thing, I do have some supercuts that I think are important.
Okay. I have a few of those as well. What do you got?
I got two of this on the same subject. This is on Hunter Biden's laptop, when some of before the laptop was released. But there was all these there's a lot of innuendo about Hunter being involved in all this criminal activity. And so you ended up with this supercut. This is supercut A.
Oh, okay.
I just want to deal in fact, because there is so much speculation out there, and there is zero evidence that Hunter Biden or Joe Biden did anything wrong here.
We should note, again, you and I have said this in the air many times, there is no evidence that Joe Biden was, involved in any wrongdoing.
Of course, want to note that there is no evidence that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
I just want to reiterate,
and let's be clear for the viewers,
there is no evidence Biden did anything wrong.
I'll note again, because it's important,
there is I repeat,
there is no evidence that either Biden did anything illegal.
There's been no evidence. There was no evidence.
There's no evidence. There is no evidence.
There is not an iota of evidence.
No evidence Biden did anything wrong.
There's really
no evidence
that Joe Biden
did anything wrong.
Nobody's ever accused there's no
evidence whatsoever that Joe Biden did anything wrong.
Got that?
Joe Biden did nothing wrong.
Hunter Biden did nothing wrong.
So this is great because now you get everybody. You also skewer all the media, and notice Fox isn't in there.
I'm not sure, but then we have Supercut B, which is after they found the laptop with all the evidence that they didn't have any of this evidence before. Now they got the evidence, and here's what they did.
Biden's secret emails.
A really fishy story.
The Post claimed that the emails were found on a laptop computer that was brought to a repair shop in Delaware in the spring of 2019.
The FBI is now investigating whether those alleged Hunter Biden emails are actually connected to a larger foreign intelligence operation.
They may be related to a foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence operation.
For all we know, these emails are made up.
The information found on the laptop may be part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Part of a Russian disinformation effort.
Described by many intelligence experts as having hallmarks. All the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation.
Russian disinformation.
Disinformation campaign.
This is a classic example of the right-wing media machine.
Scott Adams made a really big stink about this. He feels that it's an incredibly scary and an outrage that over 50 of our current and former intelligence officials and specialists would lie. As you know, they signed that letter. Oh, no, this looks like classic Russian disinformation. Scott somehow was, A, surprised by that, and B, somewhat taken aback.
I don't know why he doesn't realize that half of these guys are Democrats. And then the clips, the third one, which says 3 instead of C, I think. This is after all that Russian intelligence. Here's the head of the DNI.
The actual intelligence
Sick
guy.
of hearing this, he has to come out and make a statement.
Don't drag the intelligence community into this. Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of some Russian disinformation campaign. The intelligence community doesn't believe that because there's no intelligence that supports that.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting also to see who is in the limelight and talking about it, because this really now comes down to, it's really more about China. The laptop is not even being discussed in regards to Ukraine. Oh, no. No, it's China. And you wait to see who's going to show up on this list once that gets a little bit of traction, which I'm sure it will. After all, it's going to the Daily News. Who we're not seeing is the megalomaniacs like Adam Schiff. He's nowhere to be seen, which is noteworthy. But but
that guy's into it up to his knees.
Well, I think someone else who all of a sudden pops up onto the scene, and I believe that this guy was involved with the dissemination of the Russian, what was it, the dossier, the PP dossier, because he was working hand in glove with Jeb Bush. And so now to see Marco Rubio all of a sudden pop out and excoriate Swalwell, listen to it in the context of, what were you really doing, a-hole? Because I don't trust Rubio at all. And why all of a sudden is he out there talking? Because this is wat je zegt ben jezelf met je kop door de helft.
I think, first of all, tremendous irony, right?
Yes, there you go. He's just saying the irony of you be talking about this story, Marco Rubio.
And I think, look, this is an example. I mean, he's now claiming that he wants to be treated fairly, but he, as a member of the Intelligence Committee, was going around telling people that the president was an agent of a foreign government. And obviously, when people hear that from someone who's on the Intelligence Committee, they think he must know something. He must know something the rest of us don't know. And in fact, that became a habit from a lot of people. They would go around saying, well, there's things you don't know that we can't tell you, but it's bad. So a lot of that stuff was going on. It was very unfair to the president. I think in hindsight, we see that it was all not true. And so I think you can't go around behaving that way and then expect that you're going to enjoy the benefit.
Notice how he says, in hindsight, I guess it wasn't true, after he was probably peddling some of that misinformation.
So a lot of that stuff was going on. It was very unfair to the president. I think in hindsight, we see that it was all not true. And so I think you can't go around behaving that way and then expect that you're going to enjoy the benefit of the doubt. Look, there are legitimate questions. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. It is perhaps exactly the way he says, and I hope he takes up your invitation to come on and explain it. But the broader question here is there are a lot of legitimate questions that I think are important to answer, not just as a member of Congress to his constituency, but in the House if he wants to continue to serve in this important role. And I'm not saying he doesn't have good answers. I don't know. But there is a tremendous amount of irony here, obviously.
So
here's the
yeah.
Now, was Swalwell taken off the Intelligence Committee immediately after this was disclosed?
Not yet. No, I think it's still up in the air.
Well, he should have been taken off immediately.
Yeah, but that's all he's being. This is a problem. No one knows how to deal with it, and they're just pushing it ahead, pushing it out of the way. Like, let's just see if we can keep moving forward without dealing with it. Although I also, there was the attack.
What kind of leadership is that?
Well, they're weeding it out. So Dianne Feinstein who also has a China problem.
You take a cop off the beat immediately. You put him at a desk. You find something else for him to do. You don't leave him on the Intelligence Committee where he has secret access to or classified access to all kinds of material.
Oh my! What are you expecting? A well-run government? Please, please.
Yes.
No. This is no good. Yeah. So I don't know why that hasn't. Well, I think we can only surmise why that hasn't happened. But there's an attack. Dianne Feinstein is also out, so she's being pushed out. What was the article in? Was it the New Yorker? I think big article about how she's senile. Chuck Schumer calling her out. Yeah, she's confused now, so we got to get rid of her. And you've got to wonder, how does someone like that get reelected if it's such common knowledge that she doesn't have all of her faculties together?
She got reelected.
No, how can she get reelected?
She can get reelected.
No,
She's
know.
In California, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Let's see who's on the ballot. Feinstein, Democrat. Click. I'm in.
And while we're on that, how sincere is Kamala Harris at being the vice president-elect, seeing as she still has not given up her Senate seat? Don't you have to do that eventually? Isn't there a time?
Wow, I never thought of that one.
Isn't there a time where you have to kind of consider doing that so that,
How about this? I have an idea.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Yeah, why not? Is there a rule you can't be a senator and a vice president?
I don't know of a rule like that. Maybe we must have somebody who's a constitutional lawyer that might give us some insight. But I'd say just keep it.
Why not?
What does the vice president do most of the time? Nothing. She could be in the Senate doing some work.
Well, the thinking is that this current
But would she have 2 votes? No, she's going to have to quit.
You can't have 2 votes. You can't have a vote in the Senate and then be the deciding vote.
Right.
But still, it's kind of protocol that when you call yourself the vice president-elect, that you then give up your Senate seat so that they can figure out who's going to take over. It's just interesting that she hasn't done that yet. I don't know if it's an oversight.
Well,
or maybe she's
going back to my thesis that she can have 2 jobs.
Yeah.
If the Republicans win one of those 2 seats in Georgia, which you're probably going to do, then she could do 2 jobs because she's not going to be the head of the Senate.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So maybe she's waiting for that. That would make sense.
I mean, she's not going to be a tiebreaker as head of the Senate.
Right.
Well, maybe she could be in some circumstance. She still is the head of the Senate. I don't know. She's probably working it out with her lawyers. I'd keep both jobs if I were her.
Back to China for a moment. Fox News pushing the China intelligentsia meme as hard as they can. And I think kind of if there's any plan or strategy, it's like, all right, we're just going to do all this China stuff because it hedges us. Like if Trump does something and still kind of prevails, we've still been against the number one enemy. And also, look what's happening. Everyone's talking about China, and it's going to make all these other networks look bad. And, the Sky Australia who broke this, the Daily Mail, all these are all Murdoch properties. Wall Street Journal has a big story on it this morning. So the Murdochs are probably in it for themselves. And likely whatever faction of the Democratic Party is not compromised, would like to have some of these people exposed as well, I'm thinking. But Fox is pushing it as anything we can get about China and brought in Ezra Levant. And Ezra Levant, I like, because the Rebel News, it seems pretty good, the stuff that they do up there. Pretty good. And Ezra had broken the story earlier, which we didn't get to on Thursday, about the Scandinavian military training the Chinese military, and this being at the direct order of Justin Trudeau. So he went on Tucker and explained it.
I read this. My first reaction was, this cannot be true. Your prime minister offered to train Chinese troops in Canada. Why would he do that?
It's a shock to Canadians, too. That cold weather warfare that you're referring to was just one of 18 different joint projects the Canadian Armed Forces had with the People's Liberation Army in 2019 alone. Canada is training 1- and 2-star Chinese generals in our war colleges. We're training lieutenants and majors, commanders. We're sending Canadians over to China. We're bringing Chinese, I think they're not just soldiers, I think they're spies as well, to Canada. And I don't know a single person in this country who knew about it, but it's been happening. And we found out about it really by accident when the government sent me Freedom of Information documents and forgot to black them out. Or maybe, frankly, someone inside the government wanted to blow the whistle on this incredibly upside-down relationship. In those same memos you're talking about, Trudeau's office was supporting China and condemning the Trump administration. It was upside down. It was inverted morality. It's seeping all the way into our bureaucracy, our diplomacy, and they're trying to get the military on side too.
I love this. This is so interesting that all of this pops up now, right at this very moment, when there's certainly plenty of other things to talk about, but also know that the Trump administration warned Trudeau about the Chinese infiltrators and spies.
Well, in fact, in these memos, you can see that the Trump administration warned Canada that this winter warfare training would transfer knowledge to China that could be used. Now, they don't explain would it be used to take on Uyghurs in Xinjiang, Tibetans to fight India in the Himalayas, or even to fight us. And when the military, the Canadian military, said our American allies or our allies are concerned about this. Trudeau's staff pushed back and said, is it just the Trump administration or is anyone else worried about it? So there's an antipathy towards America that seeps through all these secret documents. And the overarching goal is to let China's president, Xi Jinping, save face. I want to tell you, though, Tucker, that is not the view shared by grassroots Canadians. Ever since China kidnapped those two civilians 2 years ago today, actually, Canadian public opinion has hardened against China. And the last Pew poll I saw actually says that Canadians are more hostile to China than Americans are.
All right. Our Scandinavian brothers and sisters are going to help us out. Fight the Chinaman.
Yeah, they're going to help us out by what? Re-electing Trudeau again?
Fight the Chinaman. You know we can fight the Chinaman. I have to listen to
my wife moan and groan about Jay Inslee, the idiot governor up in Washington, who keeps making these edicts, the most recent of which was no singing. And I say, he won by a landslide up there. He won by a landslide. What are you bitching about?
What does the singing have to do with it then?
Oh, because singing transmits COVID.
Right. And what does that have to do with him winning by a landslide?
Oh, no, I'm just saying when you bitch about somebody that you keep voting in office, and I would say Trudeau falls into this category.
Yes.
You don't have a lot of complaining to do.
No. As it turns out, the Democratic National Party had Fang Fang on the payroll.
Fang Fang, who did the bang bang?
Yes. Paying her $1,274 bi-weekly.
She's double dipping in more ways than one.
Yes. I love these stories. It's just like, are we completely infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party? Well, it sure seems that way. And I think it's intended to make you feel that way. But it may not even be that far off. I love did you see the trader trading cards that are going around now? These are quite cute.
Yeah.
I put some of those in the show notes. What'd you think?
I don't know. It's lame. Personally, I think it's lame.
I thought it's funny. The question is, are those governors who are on the trader trading cards, are they going to be implicated in the database?
Let's hope so.
Let's hope something's in there of some value. And this plays right into President Trump's, I think, overall plan of lots and lots of lawsuits. Let everybody see the fraud that took place, and I think it successfully moved it from baseless to not widespread to no evidence of widespread, and then, of course, to the Supreme Court suit that was filed by the state of Texas and joined by, I think, 16 other states, and the president joined in. And, obviously, CNN had something to say about this because even before the Supreme Court to look at it, we knew that it was obviously racist.
So we reached out to Greg Locke, a pastor in conservative Wilson County.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. Damn it.
How do they come up with racist?
Oh, wait. It's very easy. It's very simple. Here it is.
The president tries to undermine democracy and seems to identify with insurrection. The president has joined a lawsuit from the Attorney General of Texas, himself under federal investigation, to try to overturn the results of the election he lost. The president's filing with the Supreme Court states, quote, "Our country is deeply divided in ways that it arguably has not been since the election of 1860. So leave aside the circular logic of decrying division when he is the one stoking it. But that reference to the election of 1860, you know why the country was divided by that election? Because Abraham Lincoln won fairly. Enslaved states were pissed about that, and they seceded, and there was a civil war. So by the reasoning of the president's crack legal team, Joe Biden is Abraham Lincoln here, the guy who won fairly. And the president is the slave states, the ones who seceded, and then the Civil War. That's who Donald Trump is relating to this morning, as 3,000 new coronavirus deaths were reported overnight."
You know what's interesting?
I love that COVID kicker at the end.
That guy's a douchebag for that analysis. There's a better analysis.
Okay.
It's from the election of 1864. when the Democrats tried to rig the election against Lincoln so he wouldn't get reelected and just fell short.
Yeah.
That's more apt. Well, unfortunately, I mean, after they tried to rig the election against, I would say, George W. Bush, too, and they finally got one to work. They did it with Nixon and Kennedy. They rigged the election and got Kennedy in.
Right. Well,
so none of this is new.
And this is how long it's been going on. And what's new is, there's gambling going on there. Now everyone's eyes have been awakened because I think the Trump platform has really focused all of its efforts. I know I've been getting all the incoming, focusing all of its efforts on blanketing every single alternative media show that's out there, which arguably is more mainstream than the mainstream, just in sheer numbers. And the message is China. The message is votes stolen, lots of corruption. Look at all the evidence. There's sufficient evidence. Some of it might actually overturn states. It's not getting its play in court, but I don't think that matters at this point based on the strategy that I see. And of course, there's a movement being pushed and it's being riled up because just like 1864, the president is going to need a lot of people on his side, and they're coming out in force. And I think you have a couple clips from it, so I didn't clip anything, but I did get the opening of the rally that took place in Washington, D.C. yesterday.
All right, you beautiful patriots, are you ready to pierce the heart of darkness?
And I thought that was apropos. Are you ready to pierce the heart of darkness?
Yeah, that was a feel-good. It was a feel-good rally. They had Mike. I got one funny clip from that, which is they had Mike Lindell.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. I looked for a clip. You found him?
Well, yeah, it was actually, I only cut a minute 48 of it. I mean, he went on for about 5 or 6 minutes yakking away.
Yeah.
But he was funny because I didn't realize, you get to see his personality. And he was out, they caught him out he was in the audience and somebody
pulled him up, right? Yeah.
And the thing is that I got the clip, but I apologize in advance for the sound variation because it was very poorly mic'd. But here's Mike. They found him out there.
Mike, what do you think about what's going on, and especially the recent Supreme Court decision?
Well, I got good news for everybody. Sidney Powell, I got a text last night, and Texas had nothing to do with what all they're doing, and they turned in all of their lawsuits to the Supreme Court last night, 4 states, and now all the fraud will be revealed. She has all the evidence. Believe me, she's still 100%, and so am I, that Donald Trump will be our president for 4 more years. We're all here to pray today that everything that God opens doors, no man can shut, and that's it's going to be amazing. We're here to we're praying that God gives us mercy and gives us grace, what I believe is we're in the greatest times where everything's getting revealed, and we're going to be in the biggest revival in history for Jesus.
Does Sydney have any idea about the timeline she expects from the Supreme Court?
No, it was just a text that she sent by her team, so I would be able to tell the people to keep the faith, keep the hope. This is such an anomaly in history that nobody really knows timelines and stuff like that. But I do know this. I put everything I had into the last 3 weeks, financial and everything. And because I know 100% our election was stolen, and we have to stand up as a nation, and we cannot allow this to happen. And all I know is this is the fraud, the machines. It's all going to be revealed. Where everybody in this country, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, everyone is going to know what they tried to do.
Yeah, that I think will happen.
Yeah, I know you do.
Well, I just want to give you a little rundown of what I'm seeing. The Georgia machines, that forensic evidence is going to be allowed to be shown, even though it was initially locked down, couldn't show it. And that apparently will show some differences. There's other interesting things coming out about Biden's brother-in-law the firm that he works for, Staple Street Capital, they are part owner of Dominion Systems. Kamala Harris's husband, Doug, he was a partner in Lord Mark Malloch Brown's firm, which is biggest law firm with representation in China. I mean, it's all being brought to a head, and I'm just waiting for what I think will be the ultimate play, which at this point would have to be Pence stopping or delaying the count of the Electoral College votes. And from what I'm understanding constitutionally, once the Supreme Court said, we're not a part of this process, even though I think arguably they're supposed to work on disputes between states, that they probably can't intervene with Pence, saying, for instance, maybe he says, I want to have a simple majority vote, whether an alternate slate of electors should be allowed. There's a lot of leeway for him to do stuff. And there's a
lot of stuff that could be done. Yeah. I don't think any of it's going to be done, but that's just my opinion. Now, the thing that's interesting now is that the media is getting all bent out of shape because the 12th was the day that the Supreme Court ruled against Al Gore. So now everything after that
it's new
is
history.
A bad thing. It's bad.
It's new history.
But nobody wants to recognize the fact that if you remember Al Franken, when he was elected to the Senate in Minnesota, 9 months went by before that was finalized. 9 months.
Yeah, but that wasn't a presidential election.
Well, it's beside the point. It does happen, these things.
Sure.
So it could go on. But on the 18th of December is when Trump, I do have a clip of this.
You mean the executive order we've been living under since 2018? That's when the report is
executive order. This woman, Lee Dundas, is a lawyer.
Yes, I saw this.
You've seen this clip.
Yeah, it's good.
She talks about it, and on the 18th is when the report's supposed to go into the.
Well, it's no later than the 18th. So it's 45 days after the election, so it could come at any time.
You want to play the Lee Dundas clip?
Yes. I think it's very good. She goes a little bit.
But before we do that, since we were on the rally, I don't want to jump away from that. Because at the rally was Alex Jones, yes. And this rally was a Christian rally.
It was the Jericho rally, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, the Jericho rally. And so I was kind of disappointed. Alex Jones pandering to this audience. If you're talking to a Christian audience and you're not, you don't have to, you can talk to them like regular people. You don't have to pander to them just because they're evangelicals.
He always does that, and he uses my number one pet peeve of Christian virtue signaling, which Steve Bannon does, is by saying, well, today is the 13th of December in the year of our Lord, 2020. That's the virtue signal that bugs me.
If I'd known that was your pet peeve, I would have caught it, I'm sure.
Alex Jones does it all the time.
But I have two clips from Jones, one of him pandering and the second one, which I had to edit way down. Was a funnier clip because he's got some lines in there that are just rich. But let's play clip one.
Not David Rockefeller, not Bill Gates, not Barack Obama, not Joe Biden, but Jesus Christ is King. And God gave us and rose up Donald Trump to stand against the enemy and draw out the enemy. So as dark as some of these days are, understand this is the beginning of the great revival before the Antichrist comes. World government, implantable microchips, Satanism, it's out of the open. The Bible is fulfilled. Revelation is fulfilled. Jesus Christ is fulfilled. God Almighty is in charge, and we follow that mighty God.
Wow. I've never heard him like that. That's pretty interesting.
I haven't either. I considered it pandering, and the whole thing was like that. But I was listening to him he could probably become a preacher. His structure's not quite.
So could I.
I know, but this guy, I'm talking about the screaming kind where you blow out your lungs.
Well, just one thing. One of our producers sent in a note about the mark of the beast and all that. And it also, so what Jones was just saying, I think he probably was talking about the vaccine as well. And really the 666, and then what is it? The actual this is all for the end of times, when you get the mark of the beast either on your forehead or your right hand, which is maybe why Fauci is out there saying, in your arm. It's not in your hand, not in your head. It's in your arm. It's in your arm. That's where it's going to be good. Don't worry about it.
Let's listen to part 2.
You look at the miserable globalist. You look at people like Bill Gates, and you look at people like Mark Zuckerberg and the rest of them. They are miserable slaves of Satan, and we pray for them and hope that the Holy Spirit can still touch their soul. But more importantly, we pray for President Donald John Trump in this incredibly serious moment. And we pray for all the women in America who the system's trying to lie to kill their babies. And we say, don't kill your babies. The enemy wants to keep the whorehouses open and the liquor stores open and the Walmarts open and the Targets and the Amazons while they tell you the churches are not essential. We will never give up. We will never surrender. We will never back down to the satanic, pedophile, globalist, New World Order and their walking dead, reanimated corpse, Joe Biden. And we will never recognize him. President Trump had zero connection to Russians. No proof. 4 years of investigation. With the Bidens, it's open and shut. So I don't know who's going to the White House in 38 days, but I sure know this. Joe Biden is a globalist, and Joe Biden will be removed one way or another.
He's really been on a tear lately, and I have a little bit of insight into what's going on. He's been on Rogan. He had Rogan on his show. Then he went on Tim Pool on Friday, which was pretty over the top. He's even, through channels, asked if I would interview him and just use snippets. I'm like, shit, man, have you never listened to the show? You don't need for me to interview you. We play plenty of snippets. But the deplatforming hurt him very, very significantly. So the only avenue he has is to go on other shows and then garner up interest. It's his version of a newsletter. He's got to get he's got to get himself out there, and he has to do it big.
I will say something in regards to that. If he had developed his audience from the get-go outside the system,
like certain people you know of.
Yeah, there are people that have managed to do this. They've decided.
It's a slow path.
Some sense of intelligence.
It's a slow path to peace, but yes, it's possible.
I think it would have been better off.
Now, did you get anything from General Flynn? Oh, wait, whenever we talk about General Flynn, we have to do the bugle. General Flynn, he was there.
I saw Flynn. I thought he was boring.
He was very boring. That's why I only brought the bugle, because I was like, all right, what are you going to say? And he said pretty much the same thing that he's always said. And then the president did a flyby in Marine One, which and Flynn spent a lot of time working on that. What I heard from my channels about Flynn right after the Texas lawsuit was not taken, rejected is not the right word, but on procedural reasons were not taken up, was that MF is not worried about anything. Of course, he's General Flynn. Why would you be? Perfect. Thought I had a close.
Now, I will say that the reason the most exciting thing in that rally was Alex Jones, and I will say that his reanimated corpse line
is very good.
I thought it was the best line of the show.
As I said, it's a big show between now and we have the 18th, and this is going to have right now we have military all around the country for Devil Storm, which obviously is an exercise. They do it every single year. It's very nice how it coincides with Operation Warp Speed, which is kicking off today and Monday as we come to plunge the needle into the arm of hundreds of millions of Americans. Who knows what could happen? there could be, under this, but I want to play this clip now, under this executive order from 2018, we are in fact under the executive order, under a national emergency, which we've been under since 9/11. There's all kinds of national emergencies that every president, including this one, just, let me re-up that one. I get to do cool stuff, get to fly the drones, don't want to get rid of that one. And everything that took place in the 2018 election, right after this executive order was written, took place in 2020, and we'll see if we get some kind of tribunal from the military or what's going to happen. Where's she from, this Lee Dundas? Is she from, I don't remember where she's from.
I thought she was a D.C. attorney, but I'm not sure.
Yes, I know she's an attorney. Well, anyway, here's her view of the executive order.
Hey, folks. Human rights attorney Lee Dundas here. I want to talk to you today a little bit.
What's with the hey, folks? Come on. Hey, guys is what it is.
Hey,
all right?
guys,
hey, guys, come on.
Hey, folks. Human rights attorney Lee Dundas here. I want to talk to you today a little bit about a recent declaration of a national emergency by President Trump to deal with the threat of interference in U.S. elections and how this intersects Trump's legal team's statements in the last 48 hours on the election irregularities, if you will, and what this all means taken as a whole. So recently, Donald Trump issued an executive order that I was actually not familiar with, entitled Imposing Certain Sanctions in the Event of Foreign Interference in a United States Election. In that order, he noted that people had the ability to interfere in or undermine public confidence in United States elections. These are direct quotes. This ability included, and I quote again, the unauthorized accessing of election and campaign infrastructure, which was defined to include information and communications technology, as well as systems used by or on behalf of the federal government or a state or local government in managing the election process, which specifically, if you look at the definitions of what this all sort of devolves down to, includes, and I quote again, voter registration databases, voting machines, voting tabulation equipment, and equipment for the secure transmission of election results. Trump further noted, a point I'll come back to later in this little piece, that people had the ability to interfere with elections through, quote, distribution of propaganda and disinformation, end quote. The president went on in later paragraphs of the executive order to state that the, quote, proliferation of digital devices and internet-based communications has created significant vulnerabilities and magnified the scope and intensity of the threat of foreign interference. And then he opined that such constituted, quote, an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security of the United States, after which he unequivocally concluded, I hereby declare a national emergency.
Right. He's got a lot of leeway under a national emergency, and it all falls under the military intelligence. So the director of national intelligence will give us a full lowdown sometime this week. I don't think we have to wait until the 18th.
No, it'll be on the 18th is my prediction.
Whatever it is, the president is definitely riling up MAGA country to be at the ready to fight for him. I think this is much more serious than I think certainly you think, because tears are going to come, and we will see some attempt at trials, tribunals, some attempt at arresting people. Again, it'll all be tied back to China, to the illegal voting. It'll all be done under this executive order, and it's going to get crazy. I can feel it happening. I know it.
Well, maybe you can feel it in Texas. I sure don't feel it here.
Well, no. Hello, did you not see where we want to kick you out of the country? We're creating our own country over here, son, and we don't need you. If you had taken the clue and the cue from your fellow Californians and moved here, holy crap, we just got Oracle. We got Oracle, we got Hewlett-Packard, we got Tesla. Oh, my goodness. What's left? You get all the crap.
There's a lot left.
You get all the Google
Apple, for one.
Yeah, well, Apple's got a big campus here. You've got all the
nothing
Google.
Like this flying saucer that landed over there.
No, well, congratulations. You've got it there. Well, I'm certainly hoping that the president prevails, because if there's one thing well, there's a couple things we've been called throughout the past 5 years. The worst of which is Republicans, which I find very insulting when someone calls us Republicans. But the overall, yeah, it's very insulting. I've never belonged
to worse. Well, I have been. I will say, I'm going to repeat for the new listeners because there's always 2 or 3 of them. I began my whole life as a Democrat. I was raised as a Democrat. I was raised as a Democrat. I was a Democrat pretty much through my early career as a working person. I became a Republican during the Reagan administration. I did not think Jimmy Carter was a good president. I thought I decided the Democrats were a bunch of people that botched everything. And then I became a Republican, and I was a Republican for, I don't know, 10 years or longer, or 15, 16. And then I decided that the Republican Party is a bunch of douchebags too. And so I became an independent. And then I registered as an independent and stayed as such until I realized that you can be something that's even beyond independent, non-affiliated.
Yes,
and that's what I am today.
Is it unaffiliated or non-affiliated?
I think it's unaffiliated.
Yeah. Well, I'm also
unaffiliated. I like non-affiliated, so just a bit more dramatic.
I've never belonged to any political party. It's not for me
I belong to all of them, except peace and freedom. I consider myself a libertarian after I quit the Republican Party.
Yeah, I think
that's
a cop out. I mean, I shilled for Ron Paul in 2008.
I am out of it. I'm not registered as such.
No, I'm just saying that I shilled for Ron Paul in 2008. I didn't register as a libertarian, but I thought he had the right idea. I was just learning about the Federal Reserve from him. It's like, oh, so I was a latecomer, a late bloomer. But no, one of the things.
So we're not Republicans.
No, but we have also been called apologists, Trump apologists. And this has you and me, my friend, on the list, on the target list. We have been Trump apologists.
Let me tell you something about the 69 million people that voted for Donald Trump. These people have revealed themselves for the racist that they are, for the tribalist that they are.
You think that's every Trump voter?
They voted for this consciously, knowing what Donald Trump stood for the last 4 years. They know this.
Yeah, you are being targeted. But not because you're victims, because you're victimizing the rest of us.
And I don't think that they should be forgotten. And I don't think that we should look the other way. I think we need to remember.
People must remember and hold you to account.
I do think that people need to be held accountable.
How much are we going to just let pass by?
You cannot come into this White House with the idea that these people aren't the enemy. They are.
The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, at a time of moral crisis, remain neutral.
Shame on them. They are going to lose way more than this election.
We want the prisons so filled with Trumps and Trump flunkies and Trump apologists and Trump enablers that we have to convert Trump buildings into new goddamned Trump prisons. We want enough of them in there that they can hold reunions and birthday parties.
This is some ugly ass talk, man.
These people are sick.
That's pretty ugly.
That is some of the most sick. They're talking about fellow Americans, and they're supposed to be the big uniters. Oh, we're going to unite everybody, and this is the rhetoric that we hear.
Mm-hmm.
And we can be called apologists, but I want people to pay careful attention to this type of talk.
And this is embedded in the system. And there was an amazing interview with Rachel Maddow on Colbert, and she's, of course, she is the Mac Daddy of cable news, and everyone fawns over her and loves her so much. But just listen to how she explains what her job actually is and how it changed with the Trump administration. She's admitting it.
Now that it's coming to an end to some degree, do you have any perspective on what it's done?
Are you asking basically, did this break me?
No, but did it in some way change your chemical composition?
It might have changed what I am able to digest and how. I mean, I feel like this was, this is a great time to be in the news business because we've never been more vital just to learn these basic rules again.
I'm vital. I am vital, I tell you. Never been more vital than during this election.
And that if we didn't know them before, don't listen to what they're saying. Just watch what they're doing. Don't take at face value something that you get from a government official just because a government official is saying it.
How about all those people who are familiar with the president's thinking and sources say, holy crap.
Those rules became very easy to remember all of a sudden again in the Trump administration, which was good. But they're good rules for us for all time. I just feel like, to a certain extent, training to do this work means you learn the rules of the road and you learn how to operate safely and you build up your skills. You take lessons, you learn from the best. It's like getting a commercial driver's license. I'm going to be a big rig driver. I'm going to be out on America's highways. I'm going to convey myself down that highway in a way that is safe for my fellow travelers. And then you enter into this administration and instead of getting your big rig and getting on the highway, it turns out it's bumper cars. And all the cars, what you're going to do all day is smash into each other and try to hurt each other, and that's your driving. That's your job now.
Yeah, see ya? My job is to get in the bumper car and go and drive into people and hurt them. This is the thinking.
That's a fascinating analogy.
Yeah, but that's the thinking here. It's like, it wasn't the way it's supposed to be, so I might as well just go do the same thing.
It's a lot more fun.
Psychos. Anyway, according to NBC, Trump has all but admitted defeat.
Tonight, a rare acknowledgement from President Trump that he'll soon be out of the White House. Tweeting the Biden administration will be a scandal-plagued mess for years to come. A reference to the federal criminal investigation of Hunter Biden's finances. Authorities examining whether the younger Biden violated tax and money laundering laws in his Chinese business dealings. Hunter Biden says everything was handled legally and appropriately. President Trump has often taken aim at Hunter Biden, but now a new target, his own attorney general, tweeting, why didn't the DOJ report the Biden matter before the election? All of it as President-elect Biden announced a number of former Obama officials for his administration.
They know how government should and can work for all Americans.
Including former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice to lead his Domestic Policy Council, former Obama Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough for Veterans Affairs, and former Obama Agriculture Secretary.
I was going to put a pool together. We knew Susan Rice was somehow going to get in this administration.
Well, it's not formal yet, but it seems like she's in. Looks like she did it.
Who the hell wants her in this administration? She's a creep.
Well, I think if I were to guess, Black Lives Matter is mad. They are mad because the administration is not taking their phone calls. So I think maybe it's like, got any more blacks? Throw that one in.
She's hardly part of Black Lives Matter.
Doesn't matter. Hey, what color? Did you vote for me? You're black. All right, in. What else could it be?
To lead his Domestic Policy Council.
Domestic Policy Council. Hold on a second.
And what is that exactly?
It's just a way to get the black lady in.
What's the domestic? No, that's once she gets her foot in the door, she's the ambassador. Next thing you know,
Domestic Policy Council. Let's see what it is.
Including former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice to lead his Domestic Policy Council, former Obama Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough for Veterans Affairs, and former Obama Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack to lead that department again. A big moment for Biden on Monday when 538 electors will cast their votes in all the states to certify his victory.
The Domestic Policy Council of the United States is the principal forum used by the President of the United States for considering domestic policy. All right. Let's see who's on it right now. Pence, Barr, Azar, Chad Wolf. Okay, so it's
a drinking club.
Basically the whole cabinet. Additional participants: Wheeler from the EPA, Mulvaney, Larry Kudlow. Okay, it's like a drink, like a Friday afternoon club where you have a little drink.
Yeah, Friday afternoon drink. Yes, once a week. Let's get together. What are we going to call it? Well, what can we do? What can we convene so we can write off our drinks? I know we had the Domestic Policy Council. Let's have a meeting. Meeting.
Bring in the drinks. If people are we've been talking about this so long about China and the infiltration into pretty much all of our big areas, all the ones that the president has been made to look like a dunce.
Of course, the media is top of the list.
But I love someone sent me a couple of sound clips from a video game. This is not even a new game. It's the Command and Conquer. I think this one was the generals, and it's the U.S. fighting against China. And just listen to, I don't know who programmed this thing. Listen to some of these quotes.
China has been generous.
Then there's this.
Building the Chinese empire.
Yeah. And then?
We have big plans.
I like that one a lot. That sounds good.
China will grow larger.
Mm-hmm. And then there's this one.
What are they? Protesters? Get out of my way. I'm busy.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
Get out of my way. I'm busy.
Isn't that the best one? Here, listen.
That's the best one. You should just play that routinely.
It's so good.
What are they? Protesters? Get out of my way. I'm busy.
I'm busy. That's how they think about you. All right. So we'll see. But I love that Thursday will be our show day. I hope nothing happens on show day itself. There's so many cool things happening this month. On the 21st, we have a rare Christmas star occurrence, which happens only once it happened 1,000 years ago, where Jupiter and Venus conjoin in the sky, visible from Earth.
Yeah.
And it will look like a very bright star, which some say might have been how the Star of Bethlehem came into play.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then on the 21st of January, there's some other crazy
the astrologers are going nuts.
They are.
They're going nuts.
Excuse me. So all of this stuff should obviously behoove Donald Trump, since it can't be the Star of Bethlehem if he's not going to defeat evil. Hello. So obvious. So obvious.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Well, I do not underestimate the American public. And I think that there's a significant portion that have been riled up and are not going to take it. And they want to see some fireworks from this president, regardless of the outcome. They want to see some fireworks. And I think, to be fair about it, so do I. I mean, we've been waiting for the thousands of sealed indictments for 5 years. It's now in the over 200,000. Give us one or two before you go. If you go.
Anything, but you're going to get nothing.
Okay. It ain't over till it's over. So on the 21st,
I'm not going to argue that point. That's pretty hard to top. Yeah. It ain't over till it's over until a fat lady sings. But
we shall see.
Okay.
And there's really nothing left to report other than hopefully today we'll have some of the names on the Chinese database list. I think that's
I want those names.
Well, I have the whole database. I got the dump. So it's too delicious to believe. Oh, we need to talk about the COVIDs for a moment. I watched the brand new movie, came out on December 11th, overhyped, the Michael Bay produced Songbird, about the COVID-23 lockdown. I figured there might be some messages in there, something that would give us a clue.
Find anything?
Yes, I did. The movie is a humongous piece of crap. It is really disappointing. I mean, yeah, it looks great because everyone is locked down except people who are immune, which is a small group, and the immunes get a yellow immune armband, which is scanned by the authorities. And the movie is pretty much about a bike messenger guy who's immune, who's fallen in love via video text with a young woman. And it's about their romance and how he then tries to get her a yellow badge to get her to live free. And that's it. And there's no social message other than you're going to be shipped off to the Q zone. I kind of like that. The quarantine zone. They call it the Q zone. And everything else looks like it is now, except just crappier.
So it's boring.
It's very boring. It was, especially from Michael Bay.
You actually managed to watch the whole thing, and it was dull.
I watched the whole thing.
I can't get 10 minutes. I'm done with these movies.
Now, I watched the whole thing as a public service, so no one else has to spend their money on it. Please. No, I do that. I do that.
Well, I admire that. But
yes, I do that.
You can still watch 10 minutes and tell people not to watch it.
No, but I like going for the full thing.
I like to give people the whole load.
I do like people to give the whole load. All right, let's talk about some bull crap with the COVIDs because it's really getting laid on thick everywhere.
All right, well, I have a series of clips on the rollout. This is all yesterday's clips.
Oh, wait.
The rollout of the vaccine.
Wait, before we do the vaccine, let's just do a couple more situational awareness because the vaccine is our savior, so we need to save that for the last. Don't you think?
Yeah, okay, you can do the thing and now we're all at the vaccine, but I should at least give you a good idea where this is coming from by doing the Saturday rundown on NBC.
Yes.
And see how, now I just want you to play this rundown to listen to the difference in tone. It was always, we're all going to die, and Trump's an idiot, and he won't leave office, and he should go because he lost.
Oh, drinking bleach, yes. Okay, UV lights, yes. All right, dumb, yes.
Breaking news tonight.
Sorry.
Now the rundown's a lot different.
Breaking news tonight, the moment we have been waiting for. The FDA authorizes emergency use of a COVID vaccine, calling it safe and effective.
D-Day was the beginning of the end, and that's where we are today.
Now the unprecedented national effort to produce, ship, and administer the vaccine as the death toll hits a new one-day record. The first vaccinations now set for Monday. We're on the ground with UPS and FedEx as they begin this massive challenge, delivering the most important packages in history.
This is a monumental event. It may be our finest hour.
Hospitals first in line to get the vaccine. How doctors and nurses are getting ready amid a brutal surge in COVID patients. One state has just run out of ICU beds. Supreme rejection. The latest attempt to overturn the election.
Hold on a second. That was great. Did I hear like a crash cart going when you said running out? Like someone coding in the background?
One state has just run out of ICU beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done, boys.
Patients. One state has just run out of ICU beds. Supreme rejection. The latest attempt to overturn the election shot down by the Supreme Court. Mid-year report card. We've been following these high school students since the first day of class. Their raw emotions in this challenging year.
This is NBC Nightly News with Jose Diaz-Balart.
Yeah, so Texas is still open, although Mayor Adler has now announced, I think from his timeshare in Cabo, that we could be going into stage 5. We've never been in stage 5, but now apparently we're going there. And, that would, of course, mean we have to shut everything down, which...
Again.
I don't think it's going to happen. He has no leg to stand on. We went out last night to Taverna, which is an Italian restaurant downtown, which closed for several months during the Rona, and they did a complete renovation. And it's now kind of turned in from just a regular old Italian restaurant to kind of looks like an Italian restaurant, woody on the inside. It's turned into a white marble top hipster hangout with the club music going. I mean, you throw some sand on the floor and then hang up a mirror ball, and you've got a Saint-Tropez club. It was fantastic. But social distancing, no. We're shoulder to shoulder, packed in this place. No one gives a crap. The waiters and waitresses walking around with masks hanging off their chin, not on the under their nose. No one cares. But the news tells you something different. The news is telling you, we need refrigerated trucks for the dead. The morgues are full. We need refrigerated trucks because the morgues are overfilled with dead, pus-filled bodies. And this report is...
This is the second time you did that last show, too.
Because that's how they make it sound.
No, I'm talking about pus-filled.
Well, that's because I know you don't like it. But the end of
I'm
this,
just calling you on it because
that's all right. I got another pus filled. I got another one later.
Oh, by the way, don't want to interrupt your train of thought, but the apparently thing has a sister term. He's saying apparently too often.
Seemingly.
Seriously.
Oh, I don't like. I would rather have apparently than seriously. Did I say seriously?
Well, my daughter pointed this out. She said, you guys are saying seriously, and you in particular pointing at me. And so she catches me around the house. If I'm going to say it in the house, she'll call me out, which I think is great. I always thank her.
That's what you want. Yeah, that's
what you want. People don't realize that that's what you want. But I just keep an eye out. If I say seriously, please
okay,
yell at me.
And same with me.
All right, onward.
All right. So in this clip, which is about Tarrant County in Texas, it starts off the same way, but then they give away the clue as to what is happening here. It doesn't really have to do with your morgues being overfilled with dead bodies from the infectious plague. Not quite.
Hello and good evening. I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Tarrant County is preparing for an increase in COVID-19 deaths. There are now overflow refrigeration units outside its morgue. Fox 4's David Santendry has more details from the county judge tonight. David.
Yes, Steve. Tarrant County Judge Glenn Whitley says conversations about bringing in refrigerated trucks outside the medical examiner's office have been going on for months. He says it's been a long time since this has happened, but that it points to these times that we are living in. Tarrant County reported 15 deaths today. It reported 13 deaths yesterday. That 15 death count today is the highest number we have seen since August. When you take a look at the footage we have, you're going to see these wooden walls that are placed up at the medical examiner's office. These are what is surrounding those trucks. The body count at the ME's office is not only related to COVID-19, but Judge Whitley says it does make up a part of it. He also says some families are slowing down the process of having a body transferred from the ME's office to a funeral home because they're waiting to make funeral arrangements in hopes that pandemic conditions will become safer.
Hello. And that's the same everywhere you hear this story. The funeral homes are not really in business. People want to have bigger ceremonies. Hey, keep them on ice for a while. We want to have everyone hang out. Oh, we're locked down. Can't go. But no, let's make it sound like we're all going to die because, oh man, oh, so horrible. Here is...
That's an interesting story, by the way.
It's what's really happening. It's so...
It's like the story we played on the last show of that woman that runs a hospital. So there's no COVID people in here.
Right. Now, this is Pastor Greg Locke from Tennessee, who is talking to, this is a CNN report, and he thinks that this is just a bunch of crap.
So we reached out to Greg Locke, a pastor in conservative Wilson County, Tennessee, who says he has grown his congregation by protesting COVID control measures.
We're not going to close our church, ladies and gentlemen, because of COVID-19.
There's a lot of sincere people that are doing their best to put out a vaccine, but that doesn't mean I'm going to take it. I don't believe the government can tell me, when or how I can stick a needle in my arm or my kid's arms. Super government overreach.
Locke says he's moved his services outdoors not to limit the spread of COVID, but to handle all the new people who've come.
Faith over fear. I ain't worried about some fake pandemic.
I'm saying the sickness is real. I'm saying the pandemic is not.
I don't understand what you mean when you say pandemic's not real.
Pandemic is not real.
But what do you think a pandemic is?
Not COVID-19.
But what do you think a pandemic is?
I think we've stuck on this pandemic question.
It's
well, then why
ridiculous.
can't you answer it?
I did. There's no pandemic.
Well, he answered it.
COVID-19 is not a pandemic.
But what is a pandemic then?
Not what we're experiencing. I'm 44 years old. We've not had one in my lifetime, so I don't know. And this is not it.
I love the millennial kid.
Well, this is an old news trick that was been discussed in the past. You find somebody with a kind of a thick, real country accent and make them represent the side you want to vilify.
Yeah, and then you talk to them like a child.
No, I'm not going to have myself kicked. Nobody's putting a needle in my arm.
Well, don't you know how safe vaccines are?
Nobody's going to put a needle in my arm. I'm not new.
But
I mean, did you get a guy like this? Is just part of the propaganda mechanism. It's really shameful.
It's a redneck red herring. It's horrible what they do with these people.
Redneck red herring. That's a show title.
Yeah. Thank you, trolls. Meanwhile, over on MSNBC, there's the guy who kicked it all off. I think he was highly responsible. Michael Osterholm. He was the guy that was on Joe Rogan's show in March when I was out there. And he was telling Joe, millions are going to die. Well, he earned his stripes, boy. He's everywhere now. He gets to show up, and he's on the president-elect's office's advisory committee for the COVIDs, and he's got a message, and it ain't pretty.
But, I've been very critical of the advice we're giving people for Christmas holidays. If we expect that we're going to get out of this without having a big increase in cases and acknowledge that we're going to have all kinds of new friends, family members who have not been bubbled up, quarantined for 10 days to our house for Christmas, what we're going to do is I will guarantee you that Grandpa or Grandma won't be here for Christmas next year. We have to get that kind of message out to people. This is our COVID year. This is our COVID Christmas. Not like last year, and I really believe with vaccines it won't be like that next year. But this year, if you love your family, if you really care about your family, we won't have these get-togethers, which I know will be difficult. They'll be very difficult. But we've got to start telling the public exactly, you can't sugarcoat it anymore. It's all about human life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this guy reminds me of? This reminds me of 1999 and the same kind of guys that were all panicky about Y2K.
Yes.
And he sounds just like one of them.
That's a good point.
Oh my God, we got to do this or that. We're all going to go. There's going to be no money on January 1st.
That's right. Fill up your bathtub. There'll be no water. I remember it. I had my cash in the freezer. I had my water in the tub. I was a believer. I was all in. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. The downside of doing the best
By the way, it's interesting that it's almost a 20-year cycle on that Y2K to this, and there was a huge stock market collapse around March or April the next year.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Write that down. The downside of being from the future and doing the best podcast in the universe is that many of the things that people see now, we have talked about or played clips from or discussed months and months ago. See China. It's not like we haven't been all over that. But with the PCR very early on, analysis, understanding the cycle count, this is now still relatively new for a lot of people. But I also played several clips from the inventor of the PCR, the polymerase chain reaction process, which is now fraudulently been turned, fraudulently turned into a test, certainly when it comes to accuracy or what it's really doing or being able to use it as a test at all. Carrie Mullis. So a lot of people are sending me the same things we've done months and months ago. I mean, I even came across an email the other day. I can't believe you haven't said anything about Event 201. Please, before you email us that, go to bingit.io, bingit.io, and just type in your term that you can't believe, and it's a very good search engine. It parses all the show notes, all the clips, so you can always find what we've been talking about, or if at least was on the docket. So Carrie Mullis, the inventor of the PCR, passed away late in 2019. Sadly, he would have been a nice voice to have here, certainly around these PCR BIPs test. And there was one interview that he did, and this was an HIV/AIDS activist interview, because the PCR was used to diagnose people with HIV, and it was the exact same people who were going to get the magical vaccine and who spent hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, coming up with pretty much nothing. And he talked about these guys, in particular, Fauci. So I wanted to replay that so everyone can hear what the inventor of PCR said about the credibility of Anthony Fauci.
What is it? What is it about humanity that wants to go to all the details and stuff and listen? These guys like Fauci get up there and start talking. He doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine, and he should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on at the bottom. Those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. They've got a personal kind of agenda. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to, and they smugly, like Tony Fauci, does not mind going on television in front of the people that pay his salary and lie directly into the camera. You can't expect the sheep to really respect the best and the brightest. They don't know the difference, really. I mean, I like humans. Don't get me wrong, but basically, the vast majority of them do not possess the ability to judge who is and who isn't a really good scientist. I mean, that's the problem. That's the main problem, actually, with science, I'd say, in this century, because science is being judged by people. Funding is being done by people who don't understand it. Okay, who do we trust? Fauci? Fauci doesn't know enough to, If Fauci wants to get on television with somebody who knows a little bit about this stuff and debate him, he could easily do it, because he's been asked.
There you go. Kind of a damning review of Fauci as a medical doctor. Sounds more like a bag man for the pharmaceutical industry. And it's too bad Kary Mullis is not with us today. I would have loved to have asked him what he thought of Bill Nye, the science guy, who clearly wants to tell the children of America what to do.
Greetings, Bill Nye here with more on masks. Here's a map of the United States. The red ink shows where people are wearing masks. The black ink shows where people are getting sick with coronavirus. I hope you can see the fewer the masks, the more the sick. And there's a perception that a virus can travel through the fibers of a mask like this red dot. Because viruses don't travel by themselves. No, they travel in little droplets of spit and snot. And the fibers are a tangle. So when the droplet gets into the fibers of a mask, it gets trapped. This is not that hard to understand, everybody. That's why we have rules about wearing a mask. Now, you know about rules. You pay taxes on the whole road, but you only get to drive on one side at a time. Otherwise, so everyone, please wear a mask.
And there's my end of show ISO candidate.
Droplets of spit and snot.
I couldn't not bring that to the table. I know.
Well, this didn't say pus.
No, he didn't say that. Now, Fauci is not as dumb, I don't think, as Kary Mullis said in that interview. I think Fauci is very, very smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I have some examples of that. I'm going to play a little slip he made, and then I would like to get into the vaccine delivery clips you have, and then we'll rip it all apart. So here is Fauci, and where was he? He was in Vermont for some reason doing a press conference about the vaccine, and he, of course, trusts it.
So I would think that we trust the FDA. They have pledged that they will do what the science tells them to do. So I can tell you, based on my experience and what I'm seeing, if there's a vaccine, which I'm fairly certain there will be, that's safe and effective, I, for one, would not hesitate to take it, nor would I hesitate to recommend that my entire family do it. So I feel good about it.
Truth wants to come out, anybody. I don't know. I would not recommend that to my family. Yeah. That's the best.
I wish somebody would say, I trust the FDA. Just think one word, thalidomide. So
yeah.
Look that up, people.
Yeah. Well, the thing that most of the anti-vaxxers, I will say, and I know many, what many of them say is the problem with coronavirus vaccines, which they have tried in the past, it has always ended in disaster when the inoculated and they've done this with the animals. When the inoculated then get the virus again from the wild, they get much sicker than they would have been without the vaccine. And the animal trials were skipped in this particular process. And they killed all the mink. I don't know if it's related, but it feels that way.
Huh.
Did you see this?
Well, I'll play a clip out of the blue, which is from my series on the vaccine delivery.
Okay.
This one I found peculiar. This is a Dr. Torres, or as our friend Jose pronounces, is Dr. Torres.
Yes.
In fact, let me play the medley first before I even play this. This is. It sounds like a NBC's move to Guadalajara. This is Dr. Torres' medley of Jose, the host, the person that's running the show yesterday, saying his name. He just loves saying Torres and rolled on the R.
All right, which one is
Dr. Torres medley?
Oh, Dr. Oh, okay. It's in a whole different. I'm sorry. I got it.
NBC senior medical correspondent Dr. John Torres joins us now. Dr. Torres, the CDC just voted on recommendations for the new vaccine, including advice for pregnant women. And Dr. Torres, the CDC, is now saying exactly how far apart these two shots need to be. Dr. Torres, thank you very much.
I couldn't even listen to the report. I was so distracted by the Torres.
As the second, actually, you unfortunately you stepped all over the second pronunciation, which he exaggerated.
Well, I want to hear it again.
NBC senior medical correspondent Dr. John Torres joins us now. Dr. Torres, the CDC just voted on recommendations for the new vaccine, including advice for pregnant women. And Dr. Torres, the CDC, is now saying exactly how far apart these two shots need to be. Dr. Torres, thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Torres. Did you...
Dr. Torres!
Did you see the Australia vaccine?
Yeah, that was a good.
But I know what happened. This is so obvious.
Tell us.
Yeah,
So
Australia had developed their own vaccine. It is my belief it was an attenuated vaccine. I don't think it was one of these mRNA vaccines. And we know from the genome and the breakdown, or we've been told, what the hell do we really know? That the COVID, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, has little bits of HIV in it, which is part of the mechanism it uses to deliver the protein spikes into the system, which is also why it makes it highly suspicious as something that was not created in a lab. But in order to deliver a vaccine, an attenuated or dead virus, you've got to have all pieces in it. And so that means you have to have little pieces of HIV. And lo and behold, people started to show up with testing positive for HIV, which Australia says are false positives. So, and then they stopped the whole vaccine.
It's a mess.
Sounds messy to me.
Well, back to Dr. Torres.
Torres!
He did say something in this... he went on about all the stuff that everybody pretty much knows if they listen to any of these reports. But he did drop this little bomb in here, which I thought was interesting because nobody's talking about this. This is during this moment where he's saying Torres and Torres over and over. This is the Torres report on 90 days. Listen to this carefully.
The CDC also recommended the vaccine even for someone who's already had COVID, although they could wait 90 days after getting the disease to get the shot, since in those 3 months, it's unlikely they'll get reinfected with the virus.
Wow. So
pay careful attention to what he just said?
Well, I heard a couple of things, but it sounds that if you've had it, then you can't get it for another 3 months. But then you can get it again?
Well, here's what he said. Kind of what you said. But what he said was that answering the question, should people who've had COVID get the vaccine? Now, under normal disease theories, you would think that if you've had it, you don't need a vaccine.
Oh, no. This is everywhere. They're all saying it. I have Fauci... I don't know if I clipped that.
So they're promoting taking the vaccine even if you had it. COVID.
Oh, yeah. And they
now,
say
this to me is extremely dubious.
Well, it doesn't mean it means it's not a vaccine. It's a piece of crap.
That means something's amiss is what it means. And so he says that, well, if you've had it, you can wait 90 days and then get the vaccine, because after 90 days, it's unlikely you'll get COVID again, which hints that or implies that you'll get COVID again after having it 90 days later, which makes it, what is this?
Or even after having a vaccine.
Yes.
Now,
so this is very, very, this really makes you wonder.
Did you see the surfer dude explain the Moderna vaccine?
No. You got that?
Yes, it's very good, because what he's saying, I mean, he's clearly he's more like hey, dude, let me tell you, he's in front of a whiteboard, and he does it in 2 minutes, and I think it's spot on. I think he has it exactly right, and it's worth listening to, because it's the first person not wearing a lab coat where I think many went, oh, okay, I understand what it's doing. I don't want that.
Our genetic information can be carried in 3 main ways. This first begins with DNA that encodes the blueprints to make RNA that has the instructions to make proteins, which are then going to function in every cell in our body. Now, the Pfizer and BioNTech or Moderna vaccines against coronavirus focus on the second branch of this pathway, mRNA or messenger RNA. Now, this has been used in the past for gene therapy or for cancer treatment, but is now being used for SARS-CoV-2. And the coronavirus has 29 main proteins, but the specific protein that's found on the outer membrane is known as the spike protein, which is really important for it to infect a healthy cell. Now, what these companies did is they looked at the entire genetic makeup of SARS-CoV-2 and found the single mRNA that encodes for the instructions to make this spike protein. They isolated out this mRNA that can now be injected into us in the form of a vaccine to make one of these 29 proteins, thus not giving us an actual coronavirus. Now, this mRNA is important as it's been structured to have a 3' and a 5' UTR, a coding region, and a place for the ribosome to start.
This is literally gene splicing, what he's showing now.
And stop.
Well, you know, this is no different than the explanation I gave that nobody had a problem with.
You're right on. That's why. You are exactly right. He just adds a few more technical terms.
He's more scientific. I'm like more of a bonehead.
I think it's useful.
And been packaged into a lipid nanoparticle, which is critical for it to fuse with our human cells, thus allowing the vaccine, or mRNA, to now enter into our cells, this recruiting the ribosomes and initiation factors, since this RNA looks just like endogenous RNA that we would make ourselves. It will then use amino acids that we've consumed to build the spike protein. Now that's when our cells begin to say, wait a second, we haven't seen this protein before.
Yeah, that's when the super painful part comes in, I'll bet.
So they elicit an immune response to bring in a macrophage to come and destroy this cell that just got the vaccine. But before the macrophage destroys this cell, it's going to remember that this spike protein was different. It was a foreign antigen that it's going to send the information to our lymphatic system, which is composed of B cells that are now going to make antibodies against this antigen, and T cells, which are now going to be on the lookout for this antigen in the future. So, if we are newly infected with coronavirus, the antibodies that we've now produced are going to bind with the antigen present on the outside of the COVID-19 and direct the coronavirus for destruction by macrophages before the coronavirus can infect our cells.
So what are you waiting for? Get in line. Sounds. By the way,
there's a couple of possibilities.
Soy boy, not a surfer boy. Sorry.
I think this is pretty screwy, to be honest about it. But if let's say it works on most people, most being the operative word,
right, sure.
I think it will prevent anyone from ever getting the common cold again.
Well, that's what they want. Except it seems that it's I mean, how many vaccines? Yeah, there are boosters.
Do you know the trillions of dollars in cold remedies that would be affected adversely by this?
Oh my goodness.
Has that been taken into account by any of these geniuses?
Wow, that's a good point. Because that is such... Well, that's all... Yeah, that's a very good point.
I think it's destructive. I think it's a destructive... I mean, in terms of if I was a shareholder in a company that really relied on the common cold for my income, I would be very concerned about the value of that company after this, if this thing works. Let's just say it works. So let's be an optimist. Let's just say it works. That means that all the coronaviruses, because they all use that corona, those spikes, all of them should be disabled by this, unless, of course, it wears off or something, which is still the part that they won't talk about. Two things. One, if the body's all jacked up about this, and the coronaviruses are all over the place in terms of the common cold and other things, so it should never really relent. It should continually fight these off. It seems to me it's not going to wear off in 90 days like they're fearful of. That's never been fully explained to me. And the second thing, which when we get into these vaccination delivery stories, this virus is stored at like 63 degrees centigrade below zero, minus 63, which is what, 100 something plus, minus 100 or more.
It's
Fahrenheit.
Very cold.
Do they inject it cold?
No. In fact, they give you they give everyone a little kit, and the whoever's administering the shot has to dilute the frozen. It has to thaw out for, I think, 2 hours. Then they dilute this because it's
I know they
concentrate.
have to dilute it 2 to 1.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't want any.
I don't like that either. I don't like them doing lab work.
Some dude at Walmart is mixing my vaccine.
Yeah, not good.
And let's just be very clear. This is going to be Moderna is the one you want. This is being signaled everywhere. I know it's not the one that's rolling out first, but you do not want the Pfizer one because, I don't know, China.
Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer and its German partner BioNTech are saying that hackers have stolen data related to development of their coronavirus vaccine in a cyber attack on the European Union's medicines regulator. The European Medicines Agency has confirmed they were targeted in a cyber attack, but gave no further details. And the incident is the latest in a string of hacking attempts against healthcare and medical organisations related to the pandemic response. Reuters has previously reported on allegations that hackers linked to North Korea, South Korea, Iran, Vietnam, China and Russia have on separate occasions tried to steal information about the virus and potential treatments. Pfizer and BioNTech said they did not believe that any personal data of trial participants had been compromised and had been assured by the EU agency that the attack will have no impact on the timeline for its review, which is due to be completed on December 29. It was not immediately clear when or how the attack took place or who was responsible.
Yeah, notice that she implicated Iran, North Korea, China, Russia, everybody, and then said, but we don't really know who did it. But I think it's just more messaging. It's like, no. It's got to be the Moderna. Make it Moderna, people. Nothing else.
That's an interesting analysis of that.
And for people who are stupid, and this is as evidenced by the governor of West Virginia, there's a couple things you should not be doing, but listen carefully, people.
Some vaccine reminders are just this. The COVID vaccine will protect us from this virus and save lives. There's no question.
No question.
Clinical trials with tens of thousands of people have demonstrated that the vaccination is highly effective and safe. These vaccines will require 2 doses.
Oh, God.
And it is extremely important to receive both.
I think he just had the vaccine.
Both doses of this vaccine. You will not be able to cross-pollinate one or the other. You will not be able to take one vaccine from the Pfizer and go to Moderna and do the other.
Oh, boy.
You have to stay Pfizer or Moderna.
I could only wonder what would happen if you took a Pfizer first and then a Moderna next. You probably grow a third arm.
Or at 3 months your dick falls off.
And do the other. You have to stay Pfizer or Moderna.
Another end of show candidate.
Moderna.
Moderna. And by the way, even when you take it, you take another one, you keep your mask on.
And again, until you and the people who live with us are vaccinated, Our best defense goes back to wearing that mask.
Wear the mask.
Absolutely doing the social distancing.
And that's not over.
Yeah.
You know, the mask is not over.
No,
the mask will continue. The mask is here to stay. Yes.
So I've got 2 ISO clips.
Unless MAGA prevails. Yes.
Try this one. Oh, no.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, no.
I like it.
And then met a lesbian.
Have they ever met a lesbian?
Juvenile, but it is low-hanging fruit. I'm liking it.
Okay.
I don't know if...
Let's... do you want to go through these vaccine deliveries working out, or wait?
Oh, so everybody can enjoy it all after we thank some people? Is that your thinking?
That's what I was thinking currently, yes.
Well, then let me thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, the man who put the C in, well, 2 of them in vaccine, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Kerr. Also in the morning, all ships and sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
And we've got a whole rack of trolls. Hey, trolls, hands up. Let me count y'all. Let me see how many we have. 21. Ooh, that's a magic number. It's the inverse of 1212, which was just yesterday's special 1212. I like it, trolls.
Well, that's pretty astonishing.
Good to have y'all here in the troll room at noagendastream.com, where you can listen to this show live on Sundays and Thursdays. We have tons of shows that are produced live. It's a 2-for-1 deal. You get in the troll room, and you all can listen to the same thing at the same time, often. And it's a real time stream, so at least you're all commenting on the same thing at the same time. But it's also just fun to go in there and just go, I'm a troll, and just run around and just say horrible things, and people will enjoy your presence.
That's what they do in there.
And if you are there, hit everybody up and ask them for a invite to noagendasocial.com. This is our federated social network. It's completely open source software. There's no algos hiding around that'll try and trick you into clicking more because you're angry. You pretty much come in, you look at your notifications. When you see something you already seen, then you're done. And then you can go back to the top, and there's probably not going to be anything other than pure, unadulterated signal to the noise. noagendasocial.com. And then we would like to thank the artiste who brought us the artwork for episode 1,302 episodes. We titled that one The Mink Road. And this was a comic strip blogger who came back with a vengeance after many drawings of butts and farts. He finally wised
Mostly
up.
Mostly butts.
And hold on.
Comic strip.
Comic strip blogger. Comic strip.
He has his own jingle.
Comic strip blogger. Comic strip.
Comic strip.
Comic strip blogger. Comic strip.
Comic strip
blogger.
That's right. Comic strip blogger. He hangs out on noagendasocial.com.
He submitted 3 or 4 pieces that were all pretty decent. We picked one that's pretty straightforward.
This was interesting. And it was very straightforward. It was a red thought bubble with Chinese styled letters that said, "That's what Xi said." Now, apparently Scott Adams had seen that on his Twitter timeline earlier in the day and had said he was pissed that he hadn't come up with it himself. Comic strip blogger emailed me and said, "Just so you know, this joke is 8 years old." So he resurrected an old joke right on time. It fit. People loved it. And a well-deserved, coveted album art credit for episode 1302. Spot on. That's how it works. You get the low-hanging fruit. Steal if you have to. Well, we don't say steal.
It's a public domain phrase.
It's a good phrase. And I had not heard it. You had not heard it.
I had not heard it.
Thought it was fantastic.
And I don't know why Scott would be upset. I mean, there's plenty of stuff you've not heard that people do, especially in the chat rooms. But 23andG was another one that was
another
pretty,
good one.
Or she. It should be pronounced she.
She, 23andShe. Yeah.
And she.
That was also a good one.
Decent, but it was like the art itself was a little all over the place looking. So that didn't work out. There was a lot of interesting pieces. It was one of the days where there was a lot of... I thought there was a number of pieces that could have been accepted, so it wasn't like a loss.
No. We looked at a number of them, and we had agreement on most.
This one was just simple, straightforward, was a pun. it had ramifications. That what she said had ramifications of the Swalwell controversy, which we covered extensively in that show. It just had a I don't know. Sometimes the simplest things win.
And if you're using a Podcasting 2.0 compliant app, you will see not only the artwork we're discussing right now, flipping by in the chapters, which you can contribute to yourself, but Dreb Scott, who has taken on the role of the community chapter manager, so whatever people submit, he's managing it. He started putting in other artwork from the art generator that pertains to the topics in the shows, but weren't used. And that's actually quite cool because artists make artwork based upon the things we're talking about in that very episode. We choose one right after we're done, but there's this whole slew of things that really go along with the topics. So now he's putting those in, which makes it for an even...
Well, we got enough to do that with, yeah.
Exactly. It's a very fun experience. Newpodcastapps.com. You can find an app that'll work for you. I like Podfriend, but there's Hypercatcher and Podverse and a whole bunch of different ones. Newpodcastapps.com. And
what?
Of course...
You mean, is that something other than Spotify?
I'm going to make my prediction here. Joe Rogan's show will come back on the open podcast market within a year.
Within a year.
Within a year. I don't think they can fill the orders for the ads that they've sold him on. I think they need to do it. It's going to be very hard for them to keep their advertisers happy. So we'll see. Anyway,
because of the reach is going to be lessened.
Yeah. Well, the Spotify podcast app is poor. It's just a poor experience, and I'm quite sure most people who use Spotify use it to listen to music, and if they're listening to podcasts, they probably already use something else. So now they're going to have to switch back and forth. The video does not. My experience with the video is not great. And I think on features, the Podcasting 2.0 will kick everybody's ass. Apple is thinking of coming along with us, but who knows? I'm quite sure they're going to do a Podcast Plus and hire a bunch of high-end people who will make shit no one wants to listen to. And they'll put that behind a paywall because they think they have to compete with Spotify, which I think is the wrong thing. They should be on the side of the creative people, of the crazies. The one that you had in your ads. No. Go ahead and try and be like Spotify. It's okay. We'll keep our 40% of the market share out here in the free, uncancelable world. And that brings us to the people we'd like to thank for bringing us their treasure, in addition to time and talent, because there's no way we could be doing the show. We would be, in fact, canceled if we had advertisements or corporate money, because that would go away very quickly. All you have to do is go bitch and moan to the advertisers, and you get canceled. That's how it works. And we have our own infrastructure.
It works.
It's so easy.
It's a mechanism.
It's beautiful.
Get the guy off the air. I don't like this guy when I'm off the air.
Yeah.
So let me go bitch and moan to the advertiser.
Call in the Sleeping Giants kids. They'll do it for you. You pay them a little bit of money. They'll bitch and moan.
Yeah, about them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they're still active. They're still out there. So we really appreciate our producers who help us in a financial way. And we'd like to thank the ones who came in bigly with an executive producer or associate executive producer credit right in the show, kind of the way Hollywood does it.
Well, the top of the list is Alexander Pellegrino for $667.00 from San Diego, California. I cannot find a note from Alexander Pellegrino, and I cannot find, it might be something somewhere, but it's not under the subject line donation. So I'm just going to have to wait for him to come along with something he wants us to do or say. And he might even want to be anonymous, which is really the problem with this sort of thing. You got to put something in that box on PayPal. And some people, you can't do it on a phone. Well, if you're going to put in a big donation, get to a real machine and do it that way. If you want to be anonymous.
Now, he sent via PayPal?
What?
He sent it through PayPal?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything from him either. Well, thank you very much, though, Alexander Pellegrino, Mr. Pellegrino. Mr. Alex Pellegrino.
Name could be all wet.
True. Well, we appreciate
it. Could be watered down.
Yay. It's much appreciated.
Sandra Walker's next on the list with $333.33 from Roswell, Georgia. Not the Roswell, but Roswell, Georgia. Hey, guys. I've been listening since July when I heard Adam on the Tom Woods show. Another Tom Woods
convert. Around. Good.
Another Tom Woods show. It was perfect timing as I suddenly found myself with much more time on my hands due to the COVID lockdown. I'm embarrassed it has taken me so long to donate. I cashed out some Bitcoin during the recent spike as a birthday present to myself, which on December 14th, please add me to the list. So you're on the list, I think.
Yep.
We got a big list today.
Yeah.
I wanted to share some of my favorite podcasters, Adam and John. I appreciate you guys doing the work, exposing the bigger picture that the M5M seems to ignore or intentionally cover up? ?
Mm-hmm.
Do they cover it up or do they ignore it? I don't know.
Yes. The answer is yes. Unequivocally, yes.
One of the two.
Yeah.
I've been called a prepper and a conspiracy theorist since I was a teenager in the 90s. Ooh. It all started with Art Bell on late night AM radio. My friends who used to make fun of me are now asking for prepping advice. What kind of water holds up best? Yeah. Do I need to save salt?
MREs and blood clotting gauze.
I hit a few of them. I think there's a good one. Blood clotting gauze.
I have that. Blood clotting gauze.
I bet you do.
I do.
I've hit a few of them in the mouth and it has made our conversation so much more fun. I don't have to worry about saying something too far out. By the way, this note is too long. I want to mention that to you, prepper. Bringing the conversation to a screeching halt. It's interesting enough I can read it. But I've noticed something. I wonder if you've heard of this before. It seems when sheeple start to step outside the herd and look at the bigger picture, they go through almost a grieving process. I think I went through this myself. At first, they are outraged and lose themselves in research trying to figure everything out. Then they try to share this info with others, but no one will listen. So they withdraw and go through a bout of depression. Then they go so deep down in the rabbit hole that they are consumed with fear and rush to gather their preps. After a while, they become overwhelmed and they go and they give up hope. Eventually, they make it back around to being content and just sit back and enjoy the show. This is where
we come in
the equation.
Exactly.
Bingo. You guys seem to have a way of making the Great Reset and the New World Order funny. You know why? Because it's hilarious.
It is funny. That's why.
Anyways, I keep trying to hit my husband in the mouth. Poor guy. Uh-huh. He hasn't taken the bait yet. However, our 3 human resources don't have a choice. No agenda is now required listening in our homeschool.
Yes.
My tweens try to act like they aren't interested, but I catch them quoting the message to get. I catch them quoting the show all the time. Sorry, it says show and I got lost. To get propaganda talking points. Show all the time, saying things to each other like "shut up, slave," and we're all going to die. Even though we don't watch or listen to any five.
By the way, that's the takeaway from America's children: is "shut up, slave," and we're all going to die. We're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's making it even funnier. We don't watch or listen to any M5M in our home. They still manage to get propaganda talking points from their friends. Of course, that's actually the friends that are the most dangerous.
Yes.
Now, thanks to the No Agenda show, they get to hear the clips from the real news sources along with the deconstruction. It sounds so much better coming from someone other than Mom.
Yeah,
which makes my job so much easier. Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, you joked about broadcasting your show over ham radio. I have recently gotten my first radio, and I'm studying for my technician's license.
Oh, excellent. And you'll be a No Agenda ham, by the way, very quickly.
Take a lot of the tests because note's too long for me to give you some tips.
No, here's the tip. It is important. All you need is the FCC practice test for this year. It will be the exact same questions and the exact same answers as the real test. The only difference is the answers will be in a different order. So if you can get the practice test, which is available online, you'll ace it because you'll know the answers. The answers will be there for you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you can take the test over and over and over again, you'll see which ones you missed. There's more questions available than the ones you're going to get.
True.
But they do give them all to you. All the answers are available. All the questions are available. They change it every year. and you just take the test over and over until you nail it 3 or 4 times in a row, and then just go do it.
It's kind of like the helicopter test.
Exactly the same.
It's a license to learn how to fly.
I'm trying to, she continues her lengthy note. I'm trying to convince my friends to get radios too, so they will have a way to communicate when censorship and cyber attacks take down the internet. We will all need no agenda more than ever, so I'm seriously suggesting you figure out a way to broadcast over shortwave and get it going now. It's not possible. As sort of a backup plan in case of emergency. Sorry, this note has gotten a bit long. Okay, just one more thing. I have a question for Adam.
Yeah?
I hear you refer to your wife as the keeper.
Yes.
I always assumed that you meant she was the one, as in one you decided to keep. But with the recent talk of the Kraken keeper, it got me thinking maybe you mean she's your keeper, as in Adam keeper? Which is it? No jingles, no karma, just get on with the show. Love and light, Sandra Walker.
Well, in fact, it is John C. Dvorak who coined this phrase during our courtship, mine and Tina's, when he learned that she is an outstanding minimalist suitcase packer and immediately coined her as a keeper.
Yep.
And as the courtship continued, I discovered there were many reasons she is a keeper. So she is, in fact, a keeper. And yes, she also is my keeper, but not in a Kraken way.
Yeah, I said she's the keeper. And the reason, you're right, I forgot the exact reason. I knew I called her that. But the reason was because there's something about women that know how to pack for travel, especially when they go to Europe. They really are, they're the women who carry a suitcase the size of a refrigerator with full giant bottles of shampoo. Those women should be dumped.
And you proclaimed this. You gave her the keeper tag, despite being extremely upset that I had found love and was not going to enable you to live through my escapades vicariously as a eligible bachelor.
Yes, there's some truth to this too. I'll explain. What it was, Adam was dating all these different women, and he had these ribald tales to tell me after the show was over. And I was getting a kick out of it. I thought it was hilarious, and I was very disappointed when he settled down.
And Sandra, we really appreciate you asking that question. Stop by anytime, okay?
You've got karma.
All right, I'll take the next one since that was long. This is Emily Ball, 333 from Cottonwood, California. Dear John and Adam, and she's got some jingles here for Terrible Terrier, Karma, Science, Build Back Better for someone else. This will be my first donation, but the de-douching and executive producer credit will go to my handsome man. His name is Adam.
You've been de-douched.
It's his birthday this Monday, so please put him on the list. He is. This donation will also be the start of his journey to becoming Sir Lemurian of Mount Shasta. Adam hit me in the mouth last December when we met, but I really started listening in earnest in March during the beginning of the COVID madness. Keeping small amygdalae is a part of how we stay together in society, and that keeps trying to tear us apart. As someone who has always felt overwhelmed by the super apparent fakeness of the news, I finally feel like I can pay attention to what's going on without losing my mind. One less uninformed or underinformed millennial. Yeah, you may be over-socialized, though. We're not sure yet. We have to run you through a battery of tests. Thank you so much. Emily concludes, for all the work you do in the community of rational-minded people you have created. Well, they really created themselves around us. And thank you to my amazing partner, Adam, for always taking care of me and our 3 kitties. With T's, kitties. We are fearless and resilient here in Northern California. Happy birthday to my love and Merry Christmas to all. Emily Ball of Cottonwood, California.
Science! For a better life beyond your freedom. Build back better for someone else.
You've got karma.
Super.
Jen Houghton in McMinnville, Oregon is next, also at $333. Credit Mike O'Reilly as the producer, please. This is his Christmas gift.
Oh,
That's a nice gift.
That's very nice. No, there's some love happening there. Done.
He's this executive producer.
Yep, we'll make it
Charles Weirn, W-E-A-R-N, Weirn. I think it's got to be Weirn. What else could it be? In Chicago. $333. Another donation of $333. My wife and I listen to your show and try never to miss an episode. We're part of the liberal elite. Graduates of the top MBA program work in tech, and we're surrounded by people who parrot the headlines that you discuss on the show. We find it super valuable to have counter perspective. We're donating to celebrate my wife's 30th birthday. So happy birthday, Sonia, from Alex. From Alex.
Yeah.
Jingle requests, Alex. De-douching, he needs a de-douching. They both do.
You've been de-douched.
Jobs Karma, shut up slave, note, please add her to the birthday. She is on the list.
She's
and here you go.
You bet it.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
Thank you.
Huh. Where's Alex? It's Charles, but okay. Keith Sarloose, $333. He was on the last.
Yeah, this is your wine guy that you visited.
Oh yes, he's got the Sarloose Winery down in
yes,
down south of me. Dear John and Adam, thank you for reading my note. I was excited to be executive producer. However, I can see my note read as an advertisement rather than the spirit that it was intended. I apologize. I'm such a douchebag. Please de-douche me. Oh, no, he says, please douche me.
No, we can't douche him for that.
No, you're not getting douche for this.
And it's also, producers can call other producers out. We don't regularly douche people.
Yeah, by the way, and I read the note on purpose because I wanted to plug your winery.
Yeah, really. What's your problem, bro?
I'm matching my donation from last week, he continues, and only ask for you to hit my friend Jeff Seik, S-E-I-K, in the mouth, meaning he needs to be douched. He's a douchebag.
Oh, okay.
Douchebag.
I can do that. We can do that, I guess, yeah.
And play the Don't Eat Me Bojiden for my son. The wine is on the way. Your winemaker friend, Keith Sarloose.
Yes. Very nice. He also contacted me. He's going to send me some wine as well.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. I would have to give him my actual address. They can't send it to a P.O. box. It's way too valuable.
Don't eat me, Bojiden. You're scary. So scary.
Yay. Thank you, Keith.
And there we have Martin Van den Enden, who's our guy in Utrecht.
Yeah, it's
Holland.
Martijn van den Enden.
Martijn 303. Dear Professor Dvorak and the Right Honorable Ambassador to the Netherlands, Mr. Curry.
It's coming.
More humor there than most people would imagine.
No, it's coming.
I am listening to the show since Adam was on Joe Rogan. Oh, it's not you're right. Wrong guy. Not really a Roganite because I specifically went to the episode to listen to what Adam had to say. Oh, as was the whole episode.
Yes.
I lost track of Adam since the left countdown, or I stopped watching. I can't remember. Since then, I'm a frequent listener, appreciating your media deconstruction, which is especially helpful in these challenging times. Already donated once, but I couldn't really follow up since the Rona was severely attacking my travel business. Yes. But now we were building back better. What possibly could go wrong? On a serious note, by the way, that's the right voice.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong? On a serious note, the vaccine, even what I might think of it, will hopefully save my business. So thanks, Joe. Joe got to do with it.
Wow.
Can I have a new You've Got Pharma for building the business back better? A TPP Jobs Karma for our staff, and I Don't Eat Me Bojiden, coincidentally, just for the fun of it. Cheers from Utrecht.
I think we can do that, and I'll even roll out the Build Back Better for you. No problem.
Don't eat me, Bojiden. You're scary. So scary.
For a better life beyond your freedom, build back better for someone else.
Jobs, 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 and jobs.
You've got pharma.
I'm glad someone asked for it.
Chisel Distinctly is next with 260.60 in Maryland. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I saw this note earlier. I got a kick out of it. I know you'll like it. I found your show 2 years ago after searching Apple Podcasts with the keywords fake moon landing.
Woo!
I was instantly hooked.
Beautiful.
I work as a skilled craftsman in the Maryland, D.C., and Northern Virginia area. The time last year I was anticipating the start of a restoration project at the U.S. Capitol building. I was annoyed when they postponed it because of the impeachment. It was then supposed to begin in mid-March, but as you well know, Corona. Fortunately, work has been steady in residential and commercial construction sectors. Unfortunately, I live in Baltimore, where the newly elected mayor, Brandon Scott, has shut down all indoor and outdoor dining until further notice due to COVID-19. Yeah. This caused the city's tourism agency to suspend its We're Ready campaign aimed at stopping the hemorrhage that is the hospitality industry.
Right.
Ready for what? There isn't even an in-person attendance at the Ravens games. I would be remiss if I didn't call out Rhino government Larry Butterbean Hogan. We've had clips from him on the show. He's a total douche for being a cuck during this pandemic. Plandemic. He writes plandemic. Thank you both for being a brilliant beacon of light during this era of extreme gaslighting. Could you please play You've Got Corona, Fauci's Wheeze, followed by Orange?
I'd love to.
You've got Corona.
Orange!
Especially Fauci's Wheeze. That's just...
Keith...
That's beautiful.
Keith Larson in Long Lake, Minnesota Nuts, $2.50. ITM. Quarterly donation. Keep doing the work. JCD, I'm not a wine guy, but I took your advice in the 2016 Bordeaux, and it didn't disappoint. Happy Christmas. Needs jobs karma.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Yeah, it was a big hit. I got a lot of responses from people saying they really have been enjoying their 2016 Bordeaux upon your recommendation. No, it's true.
It's hard to do any 1 year. It's hard to do a blanket recommendation like that.
Well, you
Very
did
difficult.
it. You did it, my friend. You are out there. You're an outlier.
I've just been my experience. I've been stunned by some of these cheap wines I've bought.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Mike Sam is next on the list in San Marcos, California. $200.33 as we round this up. Gentlemen, I hope this gets you in time for Sunday show. I will listen live, which rarely happens as I migrate from San Diego to central New Hampshire. After 7 years of nagging my wife to get out of this beautiful weather, San Diego, by the way, is the weather capital of the United States. Sorry, Florida. And go back to the cold woods. She finally jumped on board. I don't know why she did that. All it took was a pandemic. Well, California probably helped. Losing our social life, homeschooling our kids on Zoom, and 2 near nervous breakdowns. If you get this in time, it should be somewhere in Arizona when you're reading this. We sold everything and bought a 9-room inn across from a lake and tucked away in a quiet little town.
Oh.
After we complete our remodel, I'll send in another donation and shamelessly plug the inn. We expect a room. Good. Until now, you gave me a big bundle of karma for this road trip. Can you give me a big bundle of karma for this road trip and the move? Thanks for keeping my amygdala small. Cheers, Mike.
Of course. Here comes a big bundle ode to karmas.
You've got karma.
Good luck with the move. Nice trip.
Yeah, good luck with the inn.
Yeah.
Take your time remodeling, let me tell you. Baron Dirty Dick Bangs of D.C. and Washington, $200. Had the delicious 17. He and I chatted about.
I was going to say when I read this note, I was somewhat confused. As everyone's been like the toilet paper scare. There's no more 2016 Bordeaux anywhere on shelves. And here, Dirty Dick Bangs comes in and says he's getting 2017. And did he get some secret advice?
Yeah, he got some secret advice. 2017 is something you can't have a blanket recommendation for. But he has a kid born in 2017, and he needed a wine. So I gave him a tip.
One that'll
very specific wine that would be
he's going to keep it until the kid's 21.
Yeah,
nice.
And then he also orders some 2019, which is the Lynch Bage, which is a stunner if you can even find it. For my youngest Colton's birth year. This donation is to cover John's billable hourly rate for his 10 minutes on the phone to give me the recommendation.
Wow.
And Adam's 2 minutes to read cover for John if he misreads anything.
Hey, I don't know. I guess I'm cheap.
Outside of the show's overall value, I felt like I had to donate for the Inside Baseball and Wine value for value. Shout outs to Team ABC, Archer Campbell, Bangs, age 3. Loves goat screams. Barrett Alexander Bangs, newly turned 5, loves the drone takeoff sound effect.
Oh, I wish I was ready for you. Okay, keep going.
And Colton Reed Bangs, age 19 months, president of the Goat Scream fan club. Jingles, just big sales karma. Baron Dirty Dick of DC.
Where is my drone? Gosh darn it. We'll just give him the group karma then. I don't know where my drone went.
You've got.
It's kind of annoying.
Karma.
NA drone. Here it is. Here, I know I got you, you dirty dick bang kid. And we'll throw in a goat scream.
Get that thing out of here.
All right. No,
Anyway, that concludes our list of executive producers, associate executive producers for show 1303, right?
Yes, it is indeed.
Wow.
1303.
What are they, protesters? Get out of my way. I'm busy.
We really appreciate these contributions from our executive producers and associate executive producers. You can probably display these credits anywhere credits are recognized, and even IMDb, as you know, will vouch for, and there's plenty more you can point to show that it's for real. But also know that you have truly helped produce the best podcast in the universe. Yet again, another episode outside of the entire takedown cancel culture that has become the internet as we push forward in our vow to bring you the best deconstruction of mainstream news anywhere. In our 14th year, we plow ahead. We stand on this hill. And we would love for you to join us on the hill on Thursday, because we're going to have a lot more fun stuff to deconstruct. I just saw out of the corner of my eye, General Michael Flynn calling for the president to enact his executive order. And you know, when he does that on the Money Honey show, it's always going to happen. So join us on Thursday and support the show.
Dvorak.org/NA.
All we ask for is your time, your talent, or your treasure. You brought it in spades. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Yo, okay. Vaccines, everybody. Vaccines.
So all the networks are all dedicating their whole shows to promoting the vaccine delivery as a major. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to this country.
Yes, and science.
And, of course, the real reason is to get people to take these vaccines, because who needs a bunch of vaccines sitting there in a cold storage forever? And I think the majority of Americans will take the vaccine, and we'll see what happens.
And also, a big part of the mission for this vaccine is, if it works, which I'm sure it will, 95% efficacy, they will be able to roll out vaccines for everything that ails you, because this is the new messenger RNA system. So what, you got a problem? You got like a weak left foot? We'll just vaccinate you for that. It's gene modification.
It's not really a vaccination.
No, it's gene splicing. It is truly.
It's not truly gene splicing, because there's no splicing going on.
No, but they know but they are. That's not entirely true. Even the way the kid explains it, they look at the sequence and they build this one particular messenger RNA, which
I think you can call it virtual gene splicing.
No,
I'd accept that term.
But gene splicing is done through injection of messenger RNA.
Gene splicing is done in real time with a gene they splice.
Yeah, that's with plants. You know what? Neither of us really know what the hell we're talking about, to be honest.
No, we're ad-libbing our way through it. But
doing pretty poorly.
We do have clips, which is what makes up for it.
Helps, yes.
So let's go on and let's get all this dramatic. And by the way, Jose here, who works on the weekends, really wants to get into acting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, shit. He just dramatizes the hell out of it.
Torres guy? That's the guy?
Torres. Yes, Torres.
Okay.
So let's go with vaccine delivery part 1.
Oh, my, I can't wait.
These are the loading docks where tomorrow morning a record rollout is set to begin. Workers today packing millions of vaccine doses here at Pfizer's sprawling plant in Portage, Michigan.
Today is truly a historic day. For 7 months, we have realized the greatest public-private partnership in modern times.
United Airlines had already flown in some of the shots to the U.S. from Belgium, the potentially life-saving cargo carefully transported in subarctic coolers. The first batch, 6.4 million doses. For now, Operation Warp Speed is stockpiling 500,000 of those and splitting the rest in 2. The first half delivered now, the rest in 3 weeks. 145 sites expect deliveries Monday, 425 on Tuesday, 66 on Wednesday.
We think as early as about 3 weeks from now, we can be delivering vaccines to all providers as directed by the states.
Overnight, the FDA authorized Pfizer's vaccine for emergency use, writing that the known and potential benefits of the vaccine outweigh the potential risks for people 16 and older.
Oh, notice that. 16 and
I
older.
Noticed that. There's a couple of things. That wasn't Jose, so you don't get the drama yet. But that guy with the flat, we intend to send a that guy who they keep clipping to. The guy's he's a guy wearing military fatigues.
Yeah.
Camo, by the way. He's wearing camo.
Yeah, well, this is Operation Warp Speed. You do understand what's going on.
What's he wearing camo for?
Because the military is distributing the vaccine.
So what, again, I'll ask the question again. There's a lot of uniforms you can wear.
All right. Was the doctor wearing a white coat? And why does he have to wear that?
To blend in.
You got me. Wow. You're very, very astute and awake today. I like it.
All right, let's go to clip 2.
Good evening. This is an historic day, what very well could be the beginning of the end of the pandemic.
This is Jose.
Oh, he is fantastic. I bet he's going for voiceover work.
The first vaccine for COVID will be given to Americans in less than 48 hours.
Oh.
The CDC today affirming the FDA's authorization, putting into motion what will be one of the biggest logistical challenges since World War II. But let there be no doubt, this war is still far from over. We hit new records on Friday for deaths, cases, and hospitalizations. Tonight, our correspondents across the country are going to walk you through every step of what happens next.
Is it possible that he's hearing the boom, 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 the opening track and they just didn't mix it in or somehow it messed up? It sounds like he's reading to some bombastic audio track that is missing.
I don't know. I have no idea.
And
was that the whole clip?
Yeah. No.
With Gabe Gutierrez in Michigan.
FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn says the agency did not cut corners.
We worked quickly based on the urgency of this pandemic, not because of any other external pressure.
President Trump called it a medical miracle.
This is one of the greatest scientific accomplishments in history.
But just hours earlier, he'd slammed the FDA, calling it a big old slow turtle. Today, Dr. Hahn disputed reports the White House chief of staff told him to clear the vaccine on Friday or submit his resignation.
The representations in the press that I was threatened to be fired if we didn't get it done by a certain date is inaccurate.
For now, as Operation Warp Speed kicks into high gear, the latest projection is 40 million doses delivered by the end of the month.
And Gabe joins us live from the Pfizer plant in Michigan. Gabe, you said Pfizer is holding back half of the supply. Why?
Yeah, Jose, at least initially, Operation Warp Speed is holding about 500,000 doses in an emergency reserve. About half of the rest will be sent out in about 3 weeks. That's to make sure that everyone who gets a first dose can get a second one. Okay?
If I were running Joe Biden, because clearly you have to program him. If I was running him, I would have him out on the tarmac near a C-130, like pointing his finger. Like, yeah, that's me, man. I'm doing. He should just take credit for it. He should just jump in there right now and just point at guys in army fatigues loading the vaccine. They should just do it.
He's actually, I think, legitimately afraid of getting COVID.
Well, that's why he has 2 masks on. Yeah, he's always doubled up.
So none of this sort of thing is going to work with him.
That's too bad because it's a great opportunity. Now Trump's going to do it. Hello.
All right, let's go to part 3 of this nutty report.
Transporting the vaccine will be an unprecedented challenge. This massive high-tech task to store, ship, and track it on the way to where you live. In this mission, every second counts. Morgan Chesky reports from the UPS Worldport Air Hub in Louisville, Kentucky.
Tonight, shipping giants nationwide ready to roll out Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. The next 24 hours, crucial. The first dose is moving from a Pfizer plant in Michigan to FedEx and UPS hubs like Memphis, Tennessee, and Louisville, Kentucky, before going out to 636 locations nationwide. UPS mostly covering the East Coast, while FedEx primarily covers the West.
It's historic. I mean, this is a monumental event. I believe as a company, it may be our finest hour.
Richard Smith is the regional president for FedEx Americas, covering every domestic delivery. He says the company is using real-time tracking to follow every vaccine shipment from start to finish.
There is a distribution that's essentially broken down into different states, different metropolitan areas will go to FedEx versus UPS. But we're prepared to deliver from anywhere to anywhere on a time-definite basis overnight, just as we do every day out there.
UPS using a similar strategy.
We can be very, very agile in how we handle any kind of shipments coming into Louisville.
UPS Healthcare President Wes Wheeler says each box like these that went to Canada not only packed with dry ice, but a Bluetooth device tracking its sub-freezing temperature and active location.
Every time the package hits one of our locations anywhere in the country, we'll be able to see it and we'll be able to monitor its location. And if we get stuck for whatever reason, we can recover.
The one question that is not answered in all of this, logistics, which just sound, my goodness, have we ever seen anything like this before? I mean, I want to know, do we still get our 2-day free shipping?
They make it. Well, apparently not. I went to the post office box. There was nothing in there. And by the way, when he says, well, if something happens, we can recover, what is he talking about? If you listen to the end of that last clip again, explain what he's talking about.
Well, that's an interesting point. Hold on a second. Let me just get to the very end there.
Act with dry ice, but a Bluetooth device tracking its sub-freezing temperature and active location.
Every time the package hits one of our locations anywhere in the country, we'll be able to see it and we'll be able to monitor its location. And if we get stuck for whatever reason, we can recover.
I think what he means is just they know where it is, and if it gets stuck because it's tracked with it's with what are those things called? The tag.
No, they're using Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's just like the tag. It's just the enterprise resource allocation tracker. Woo! I'm impressed. I'm impressed. It's so impressive.
By the way, this is the whole show, except for one little segment at the end. It's pretty much about this, and they're dramatizing all. And I have 2 more clips. And especially the last one is a real gem. They're dramatizing this, and they're really trying to. I think that all the networks are doing this to really give everyone great, the COVID thing is over, which of course Biden's going to be after January 20th. It'll definitely be over. It's just I'm watching this roll out as this amazing piece of propaganda that is pretty much over the top.
Do you feel, before we play clip 4, do you feel that indeed this will be over when Bo Biden comes into office? Because I don't see that. Why would they? They got a good thing going here.
Well, they got it. Yeah, I agree. They have a good thing going on the one hand, but I think if they can dramatize this vaccine ending to this problem and get they can't, the big CEOs of the airline companies and every travel industry and the hospitality industry and the service industry, which is what all we really do in this country, and even the manufacturing industry, they're not going to put up with this much longer. They got to end this, and it's going to end. This is why they're dramatizing this. This is over. January 20th. It's downhill. February 1st, everybody's back back not wearing masks.
No. We're due for 100 days of masking up. Come on, man.
Okay, well, come on, man. You're right. There's going to be 100 days of mask wearing, and then it's over after that. But it'll be over on January 20th. And the way I'm seeing this roll out.
The way I'm seeing it, the Great Reset is bigger than Joe Biden. They'll keep this running as long as they need to until they take care of business and really destroy everything.
Yeah, they're a bunch. The Great Reset guy's an idiot.
Yeah, well,
so let's go with.
They're pushing it, ma'am. They're pushing it.
Tonight, after 10 months of so much despair, new light at the end of a very dark tunnel. For healthcare workers, it comes as the nation saw its deadliest week since April. More than 15,000 new deaths. Nationwide, nearly 200 hospitals at capacity, and almost 1/3 are seeing more than 80% of ICU beds occupied.
Things are really tough. This virus is it's so serious, and people don't see it that way.
From coast to coast, hospitals have been preparing to roll out the vaccine for weeks. In Phoenix, this healthcare system doing a practice drill. In Louisiana, Ochsner Health making sure their storage unit is ready for the nearly 10,000 doses heading their way.
Those vaccines will go into these containers that are for cold storage.
So many frontline workers now breathing a sigh of relief after living in fear of contracting the virus and passing it on to their own families.
I've had doctors come up and tell me I've not seen my parents in 6 months. I'm afraid to go home.
Dr. Paul Nee works at Danbury Hospital in Connecticut, where some 700 medical staff signed up for the vaccine in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, oh man. All right.
By the way, after this clip went on a lot longer, and they brought in the last of the sob stories, the people who died, and they were all crying. It was really kind of disheartening to watch.
Did they ask anyone, how does it feel to have your grandma die just before the vaccine came out? Does it feel like crap that you just missed it, that she just had to go?
Empty chair, man.
Empty chair. Oh, it's so disgusting.
By the way, so I got a note from one of our producers last night about, I guess one of the local hospitals is one of our policeman producers. He knows who he is. One of the hospitals are going on strike.
Because why? Because they don't have enough.
They haven't paid the nurses,
and they don't have enough patients.
That's the real reason, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever you do, just listen to your news. It's all true.
So let's go to the real kicker to this whole thing was at the end. We take a COVID moment, and Jose gets to be his dramatic self and do kind of a soliloquy.
Oh, nice.
And really tell us how important all this is and what we have to look forward to.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, NBC with Jose and a COVID moment.
We want to take a moment to pause and note that with this vaccine, something truly big is happening, something that could change the course of history.
Hold on, stop.
Achievements before.
Stop. Stop.
Yes.
Start it over. I didn't realize until I just heard it again. He's doing William Shatner.
Oh, you didn't realize he was acting like Captain Kirk?
I did not until this last play. Yeah,
because he's comparing it to the moon shot and apparently Star Trek. Beautiful, just as real as Star Trek. Everybody,
we want to take a moment to pause and note that.
Hold on, while we're talking broadcasting stuff, what is this?
We want to take a.
What is that? What is this opening to his sentence?
We want to take a moment.
My goodness.
We want to take a moment to pause and
do you want it?
With this vaccine, something truly big is happening. Something that could change the course of history. We've had big scientific achievements before, often set off with a bang. This achievement, packed in tiny vials, no less spectacular. But now, it's on us.
Put this in some historical perspective. What does this stack up alongside?
You look over the decades at tests of America like the World War II effort or the moon landing program. These things showed how well we did as a society. And I think we are about to see that right now as we see whether this vaccine works and whether it will be distributed to everyone.
It took 25 years to develop a vaccine for polio, 12 years for the flu. This first COVID vaccine took just 11 months. The scientists should be celebrated.
This is probably one of the greatest public health accomplishments in my lifetime.
But so too should the volunteers, tens of thousands across the world who rolled up their sleeves to take their shot at helping.
100 years from now, historians will look back on this year and say, did we Americans meet our moment? I hope they say that we did.
Oh, man. And, you know, just like the previous pandemic 100 years ago, we will remember the heroes, such as Typhoid Mary. There will be
Typhoid Mary.
There will be they don't remember any heroes from any of that. Oh, yeah, the vaccine. It's just as real as the moon landing. It's
the same thing.
Whoa! I got you for a second there.
Almost.
Many of our producers work in healthcare, and they are being mandated, many of them, to take the vaccine. And with this first round of vaccines, and I have a feeling it might be for everybody who takes this first plunge in the arm, you will receive the V-Safe app. And the V-Safe app is being distributed to everyone who has taken the vaccine, and you'll enter your vaccine number, and you'll keep track of everything.
Texas hospitals are expected to get their first doses as early as next Monday. Travis County hospitals will get more than 13,000, and almost 3,000 more will go to hospitals in Williamson and Hayes counties. Today, the state announced once people start getting those vaccines, it will use an app to track side effects. It's called V-Safe. It'll help people log potential problems that could be sent to the CDC, and it'll also remind them of when they need to get a second dose about 3 weeks after the first one.
Yeah, it reminds you every day and every couple of hours to report in. Is it super painful yet? Are you feeling dizzy yet? whatever it is. And I certainly hope this works. I'm extremely skeptical of this newfangled technology. And the big problem is the people who are skeptical. These need to be told to shut up. And in the United Kingdom, where, as we know, they are ahead of us, there is a man named Neil Basu. He is Britain's top counterterrorism officer, and he called yesterday for a nationwide debate on the introduction of new laws to punish people who spread anti-vaccination conspiracy theories. He said there should be a discussion about whether it is the correct thing for society to allow people to spread misinformation that could cost people's lives, as he responded to concern that false claims online would undermine the take-up of COVID-19 vaccines. Now, he did stop short of endorsing the idea of new laws, but his intervention will strengthen pressure on ministers of Parliament to act against conspiracy theorists making false claims about the vaccines. This is a real problem. You cannot have an opinion, scientific or otherwise, that goes against what your not elected, but what your chosen leaders of counterterrorism, because he's going to call you a terrorist, a domestic terrorist, I presume.
Yeah.
You can't have that. Google has now stated that they will label or remove anything that does not agree with the conventional wisdom on the vaccines, which should see a lot of more deplatforming and shutting down. We already saw an animated No Agenda get removed because we used Fauci's very own words in his own voice, actually. But no, that's That doesn't matter. And the big problem, so that's in the UK, and I'm sure we'll get to that here. In the United States, we have a different issue. And that issue is kind of twofold. And we have a movement that is telling us that because of racism, black and brown communities, as they're known by the media, we just call them places where people live, but okay, it's black and brown communities, and they have suffered disproportionately. Now, there are many reasons for this, but according to most of the political landscape and the media, it's because of racism. And so we need to encourage the black and brown communities, particularly the African-American black communities, to get on board with the shot because you're dying. We got to save you. You can't save yourself. We have to tell you we're the elites. The American black community is very skeptical of the government giving them something and singling them out for it. And you need to look up the Tuskegee experiments to understand what that is, where they gave a large group of African-American men syphilis and then told them that they were giving them a cure against it and didn't, and then just followed them for 30 years. President Clinton wound up apologizing for that in the late 90s. So we need to go and we need to propagandize. And what do? We got to call our people together. Let's call in the National Urban League. This is the most scripted, most phony, most disingenuous thing I have ever seen with Anthony Fauci. But it started off with his wife, Christine Grady, who we have not heard from. Most people don't realize that she is married to him. They came in on the Zoom call from different locations. They never said hi. It was never like, she's my wife, or hey, baby, or Christine Grady. Just so you know, her last name could be Fauci, but it's not. It's great. No, not a mention, not even a wink, wink. When she's introduced, Fauci's already on camera. Doesn't move. It's as if they have no relationship whatsoever. And she is a bioethicist, and her job is to approve vaccines and other biologics in the National Institutes of Health based upon the ethical nature of it. So this is really her roadshow. It's her job to get black people in America to take this and not be afraid of stuff that has happened to black people taking stuff from the government in the past. So she's brought in, and just listen.
So we are very thankful for the work that she does, and we're thankful you can join us tonight, Dr. Grady.
Thank you so much, Dr. Frederick, and good evening to everybody. As you heard, I'm an ethicist at the NIH. My colleagues and I, and ethicists in many other places, are intensively involved in thinking about the ethics of vaccine research, vaccine prioritization and distribution and utilization, the community engagement, and other things. We're also very committed to the ethical conduct of research that respects the dignity, the value, and the worth of all people, and certainly including African Americans and people of color. We look forward very much to listening and learning this evening from the comments, suggestions, and questions that the audience brings.
I love that when we look forward to listening and learning. We really want to hear what you have to say while we're stuffing your brain full of propaganda.
Tonight. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce
the shill
and then turn over the program to Ambrose Lane, who epitomizes the model of informed and principled community-based health leadership. Ambrose Lane Jr. has over 35 years of leadership experience as an effective organizer and executive. Mr. Lane is the founder of, and since 2013, the chairman of the Health Alliance Network, DC's largest community health advocacy group, advocating for issues of health equity, health policy, and chronic disease prevention strategies.
Always notice the equity word in there. So he's being brought in. He is, of course, a man of dark skin color, because that's what really works. And he'll read the script, too.
He is also a co-founder of the Black Coalition Against COVID. Ambrose, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Grady, for that introduction. And I'm going to introduce Dr. Anthony S. Fauci for our audience.
So he goes into a long-winded introduction of Dr. Anthony S. Fauci. It's so scripted. It's so obvious what is going on here. But just when you thought it couldn't get even more condescending, Anthony Fauci comes in.
And my understanding is that independent monitoring board has African-American scientists on it. In fact, one works with you directly. I don't know if she's on the board, but we know that we have an African-American scientist that works with.
Shit, I love. In fact, one of them. You know, now it's singled out. One of them works with you directly. Is that crazy? You work with a black person and she's a doctor? What?
I don't know if she's on the board, but we know that we have an African-American scientist that works with you directly. And so this is, and talk, you can speak about her work, but also how important that is in terms of breaking down these myths in the historic trepidation. Because it's a new day. It's not 1930 anymore.
Now listen to what Fauci says. He really lets it rip.
2000, this is 2020. And so the times have changed, and the input of African-American scientists in this process is much deeper than one might think. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think the example that you gave, Ambrose, is an excellent example.
It was also the one we rehearsed.
The very vaccine that's one of the two that has absolutely exquisite level, 94 to 95% efficacy.
Mind you, he's pointing out one vaccine is better than the other.
Against clinical disease and almost 100% efficacy against serious disease that has shown to be clearly safe. That vaccine was actually developed in my institute's Vaccine Research Center by a team of scientists led by Dr. Barney Graham and his close colleague, Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, or Kizzy Corbett. Kizzy is an African-American scientist who is right at the forefront of the development of the vaccine.
Sounds more like she's the lackey of some guy who really did the vaccine, but okay.
So the first thing you might want to say to my African-American brothers and sisters is that the vaccine that you're going to be taking was developed by an African-American woman. And that is just a fact. I mean, that is a fact. And I think that's some of the things that people don't fully appreciate.
Just so you know, even evil doctors, as long as they're black, you can trust them. It's good to go. And this Moderna is made in Fauci's lab. I heard him say it. No, that was developed in my lab at NIH.
That's what he said.
And so I wonder, and I'd like to know, if, what was her name, the doctor, Riza? Kizzy?
And the
example that you gave.
Kizzy. Dr. Kizzy. Is she also cut in on the patent? Is she on the patent of the Moderna vaccine? I looked. I couldn't find it. So are you shortchanging your black doctors, Dr. Fauci? The stuff that was developed in your lab where everyone, including you, is on the patent? Is Kizzy on it? I didn't see it. Might not be looking in the right place. I'll be the first to admit. So these guys, and to say, so my black brothers and sisters.
There's only one place to look.
Yeah, the U.S. Patent and Trade Office.
Yes, and the list is right at the beginning.
So my black and brown brothers and sisters, F you, Fauci. That's so condescending. It's really lame. So there you go. They think that's going to work. Good luck.
Well, it's doable to get people to take the vaccine if you don't do shit like that.
Yeah.
Because then it looks a little suspicious. I mean, if I was somebody that was inclined to take the vaccine, and I know people that are, and I was black, and I saw this, I'd say, what is this about? Why are they doing this? This is suspicious. And I think twice about it. Very poor execution.
It's what they always do. It's also like, what was
They're guilt-ridden.
Yeah. I don't have a clip of it, but it's the same thing I saw. Oh, where was this? Someone has promised that, I'm going to put in a bill and it will be for reparations, and we're going to have a study group. Oh my gosh. You must love our black brothers and sisters because you're giving them a study. This has been done 1,000 times. It's all I can see is people who really think African Americans and people, as they say, brown and black communities, that they're inferior. That's how they talk. These are horrible people.
Yeah, to summarize, that's probably exactly the genesis of the whole thing.
Yeah. What, they're actually racists?
They're racist. Of course they are. It's that same statement, that phrase, that Dutch phrase you love to say.
Wat je zegt ben jezelf met je kop door de helft. J'accuse!
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to memorize the phrase.
No, it's not. It's not very difficult to do. I heard a new one today, which I liked a lot. Met een gebraden duif tegen je bek aanvliegt. Which is roughly translates to a grilled dove flew right into your mouth. Which is, I guess, a Dutch.
Grilled? It has to be grilled?
Yes, because it's done. It's grilled. It tastes good. It's the dove has been cooked, and it flew right into your mouth. A grilled dove.
And what's the phrase imply?
That you were looking for something and you got exactly what you wanted. It flew right in your face. The grilled dove.
Huh.
Yeah, the Dutch, man, they're filled with stuff.
Well, they got these little phrases there. It's cute.
Let me see these. Let me just see them rechecking this patent. Are you sure it's the one up front? Oh, here it is. Yes.
Yeah, it would be at the beginning.
Yeah. No, there's no kizzy here.
Unless it says et al. At the end. Which wouldn't be weird, but it could.
No, they don't have an et al. No.
They usually put everyone's name there.
They have Justin Guild from Massachusetts, Moderna, Texas, of course. Oh, that's the assignee. The inventor, Antonin de Frugeros from Waterloo. Oh, that's from Belgium. Well, I don't know exactly how they do this.
Is Fauci even on the list?
He's got to be on the list.
Not necessarily. Having a piece of the action insofar as the stock's concerned doesn't mean you got to be on any lists. You're already on the important list.
Well, this is true. But for sure, Kizzy's not on the list. But yeah, Fauci always gets a piece of this. So I don't know if that goes to the NIH. The disclosure documents are there. They're in the show notes. You can take a look at it. I was just looking to see if I could see anyone else. No. Anyway, so it's coming. And what can we look for now? I would say in the next day or two, we will have the typical shots of lines around the block.
Oh, there'll be those huge lines.
People lined up and ready to go. And
and half the lines will be some of the technicians doing the shot because the lines will never be long enough. So they make a 1,000,000-mile long line. They show that to the public over and over and over again. And so you say, oh, there are people, I don't understand their mentality, but they see a line, they get in it.
And I've been thinking...
this must be a good nightclub. There's a line out front.
I've been thinking, yes, the velvet rope concept. So Walmart is going to be one of the big distributors for this. And to me, that adds a little interesting twist to our holiday favorite item, which we kicked off on Thursday. We had the first Secret Santa paying for everyone's layaway at Walmart. And I'm just
it's always Walmart. They never do it anywhere else.
Well, I'm just thinking it might be an extra draw for people to come to Walmart. And, once you got them in the door, they'll have their greeters and telling them, hey, black brothers and sisters, you should come over here. We'll give you that shot. And right on cue, the second Secret Santa at Walmart.
At 11 tonight, shoppers at a Tri-Cities Walmart got a big surprise this week.
Yeah, an almost $70,000 layaway balance paid in full and just in time for Christmas.
I'm still in shock, actually. I couldn't believe it, and I still can't.
Shoppers who put their Christmas gifts on layaway at Walmart in Bristol, Tennessee couldn't believe the news.
I got a notification on my email that my layaway had been paid for, and I thought, well, that's kind of weird.
On Monday, someone walked into the store not to shop, but to pay off all the layaway balances. The total for everything, $64,995.51.
She said, yes, somebody came in this morning at 6 o'clock and paid everybody's layaway, but he wants me to tell you that he loves you, God bless you, and Merry Christmas.
Those whose bills were paid may never know who gave them a Christmas blessing, but they say they will always be grateful.
This man made my son. He says he loves you too. But I mean, we love you.
Well, no clue who gave the gift. We are told, according to Walmart, the deadline to pay off your layaway balance is December 14th. Sarah, still a little time for others maybe who, are getting the idea tonight to go out and do the same.
What a great way to pay it forward, a great gift during this holiday season.
What a great way to pay it forward, yes. Come on.
A couple of things.
Yeah.
First of all, how'd they get a hold of that guy who got the email that says it was paid off? And they got him on interview him. There's some packaging going on here.
No. Hold on. I just want to give you the facts. The guy who paid him off left that note. Well, you heard a guy who got his balance taken care of. He received an email from Walmart saying that his balance had been paid off.
Well, how'd they get a hold of him?
Because he has a balance at Walmart.
Well, does the media say, hey, give me a list of everyone with a balance at Walmart, which no store is going to do?
Walmart does. Hello.
So the second
it's
thing
part
is
of the ad buy. Hello.
The ad buy. You got $64,000. This was a multiple ad buy. This was you have to see what the price was. Let's say the local 5 stations to do an ad buy at each one of them is it amount to $64,000. And I still wonder to this day whether this is a native ad or the stations just suckered into running this story.
Yes, it would be my answer. I think yes, it's both of them. It's probably a hell of a lot cheaper to do the $64,000.
That's what I'm thinking. $64,000 spread out over maybe 10, 20 stations in the whole state because it's such a feel-good story.
They got on the No Agenda show.
They love to run.
They got on the No Agenda show.
Got on the No Agenda show. There's another good example of some free advertising for Walmart.
Yeah.
Although we do in a condemnation sort of way.
Sort of.
Still, no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah. Hey, here's an idea. Walmart. Why don't you spend some of that over here with us? We'll talk about how great your store
is.
Send
some cash.
Yeah.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
So before starting my list here, I want to thank a few people, but I want to start by saying the Baron of Silicon Valley, Sir J.D., did send a note in because he's got his father-in-law on the birthday list, but he needs some cancer karma for him. He starts 5 weeks of radiation treatment in a week.
Yeah. Let's get that right away.
You've got.
Yeah, I got that note too. Glad you caught that. Good one.
So we start off with Carissa Mulan.
Oh, Mulan!
Mulan in Thaxton, Virginia, $160.16. Christina Strickland. We have a lot of unbelievable number of birthdays in today's show.
Yeah, that's
Christina Strickland's on this list for someone.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Florida, 133.69. Sir Silver Dude of the Silver Dolphins, another birthday. Severn, Maryland, 130.31. And you got some goat karma. Put it at the end. Sir Baron of Silicon Valley, Sir J.D., we already just mentioned his note, 130.31. Kerry Walker in $100 in Viola, Idaho. Mark Martin in Sterling, Illinois. Jonathan, which 100? Sorry. Jonathan Rivera, another 100 from Sanford, Florida. Love you guys. And he hit his wife in the mouth. Michael Day and I should know how to pronounce it. It's $100. Fuquay Varina. I'm sure I botched that.
No, that sounds good to me.
Sounds right, but
get out of my Varina.
It's in North Carolina, and we'll get a correction in the mail. Sir Kevin McLaughlin, the Duke of Luna in Locust, North Carolina. Lopsided boob Nathan, 8006. Richard Clark in Joshua, Texas, 7373. KG5DDX 73 from the Republic of Texas.
Kilo 5 Alpha Charlie.
Got a call out for a smoking hot wife. Andre Pietju in Okay, let me try. Let me give this a shot. Andre Pichu in Rijswijk, Holland. 69.
No. When I say it, you'll be pissed because you know it. First of all, it's Andre Pichu, and he lives in Rijswijk.
Rijswijk. Okay,
yeah, close.
69 from him,
of course.
Sam van Hoorn, Sam van Hoor in Amsterdam. 6633 Hora.
So many people with the birthday, especially a lot of 33s. It's like going crazy with the 33
very
birthday.
Suspect.
Richard
Clark has a birthday. Sam has a birthday. So not appearing in this podcast in Richland, Washington, 5678. Brandon Turner Velez in Kingman, Arizona, 5555. Matthew Dropko in Delaware, Ohio.
Yeah, I got a note here. He's getting gallbladder. His gallbladder will be removed on Monday, and he says, "Hey guys, I mean in the morning, gents. Monday, I have the distinct pleasure of having my gallbladder removed by one of the finest robots money or my insurance plan could buy. I'm sure you know people that have had robotic laparoscopy. Robotic laparoscopic coleo-something-batomy. Please make an exception to read part of my email on the show to get the power of the no agenda energy going." Well, I think we do need to give him a little bit of karma there. Needs that.
You've got karma.
He sent us
the for sure.
Yeah, he sent us the robot.
Double nickels
pictures
on the dime from him.
Yeah.
Patricia Kiernan in Dublin, Ireland. Hey, Dublin, Ireland. 33, and she's got a birthday too.
Well, she says she's donating for her douchebag husband, Mark, and it's his birthday.
Oh, it's his birthday.
But I think he can get a de-douching then if she's donating for her douchebag husband.
She didn't ask for it.
Okay. And then he remains douche.
Sir Chaotic Mass in Dallas, Texas, 5120. Sir Big Papa Moose of the Ogallala Aquifer in Liberal, Kansas, 50. These following ones are $50 donors, name and location. We had a short list today overall. Big Papa, Rawson Tachkoff in London, UK, Kimberly Redmond in Toronto, Ontario, Sir Labrat of the Hill Country in Universal City, Texas, Dame Patricia Worthington in Miami, Florida. She had a note that she sent in about something. I'm going to have to go dig it up. Sorry, Dame. It's just some request that she had.
I'll look.
Robert Kerback in Essexville, Michigan. Clayton Dunavant in Greenfield, Wisconsin. John Haidt in Folsom, California, where the prison is. Big prison.
Johnny Cash.
Sir Brandon Savoy in Fort Orchard, Washington. And that would conclude our list of well-wishers and producers for show 1303.
Yes, and I'm still... Oh, here we go. This is thinking about doing a little Christmas... Oh, she's talking about a meetup here. I do not have... the only email I have is from the 5th of December, so I don't have a current one. So maybe she didn't have a note. That's possible. She certainly is royalty in our book, so we know she's been around.
Oh, yeah.
And around these parts. Well, thanks, y'all. Thank you very much. These messages of support and these donations are incredibly valuable to us. It'll quite literally keep the show going. I also know a lot of people, because of 1212, when you sent the email, decided to up their 1111 donations to 1212. We don't mention those under $50, primarily because people want to remain anonymous at some guaranteed level. So anything under 50 is never mentioned, which is why we do have people showing up with 49, 99, etc. But we understand and we appreciate it, and would love for you to consider donating your time, your talent, or your treasure for the next show. That'll be 1,304 episodes of this grand experiment where really you are the producer. You're not our listener. You're not our fans. You're not our audience. You are the producer of the best podcast in the universe, an experiment that shall continue for the foreseeable future.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And now, karmas for everybody who needs them.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's your birthday.
quite a list we have. I think it's one of the biggest birthday lists we've ever seen. A lot of 33s in here. And we start with Lorraine R., who says happy birthday to her hot, fabulous husband, Alan, who celebrated on December 3rd. Sir J.D., happy birthday to his father-in-law, Don, who turned 80. And he still reads the newspaper without his glasses. Mark from White Bear Lake, Minnesota, nuts 50 today. Sir Cesium, 137. Maybe the same guy. Turns 50 today. Gabriel Siguan, happy birthday to Black Knight Cesium, 137, who is celebrating today. Christopher from St. Maries, Idaho, will be 51 on December 14th. Emily Ball says happy birthday to her handsome man, Adam, celebrating on the 14th as well, as is Sandra Walker. Charles Wern, happy birthday to his wife, Sonia, who turns 30 on the 14th. His name might have been Alex, but that was his confusion in the note. Christina Strickland, happy birthday to her dad, Grumpy Green Guy, who turns 34 on the 14th. Sir Silver Dude will be celebrating on the 14th. Richard Clark, happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Mary. She celebrates on the 15th, as does Sam Fun Whore, who turns 33, magic numbers on the 15th. And on the 16th, Patricia Kiernan says happy birthday to her douchebag husband, Mark Kiernan. And we say happy birthday to everybody here from the best podcast in the universe. Whew, baby. That was a long one. No nights, though, no title changes, but we do have an overview of the meetups.
No agenda meetups.
And before we give you the full rundown, here is a meetup report. The No Agenda meetups are actually protests, you know. It's, if there's any kind of hassle with the local popo, just talk to him like you went to a protest. Hey, I went to noagendaprotest.com. It was organized, man. Okay, you're good to go. And you might find yourself at the NA Local 512 meetup where Black Knight, Sir Scott of the Black Baron, I think, Sir Scott of the Armory, once again brought the Austinites together.
Your Black Baron of the No Agenda Armory, Scott Morgan here. We have a nice little group that's come in December 12 for the No Agenda FEMA Region 6 meetup deep in the heart of Austin. Passing it along for everybody to introduce themselves.
What's up, douchebags? It's Phil Gibson. You're going to need a Bitcoin or have fun staying poor. Peace.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Kimchi.
Hello, guys. My name is Menno Demento. I came all the way from Lancaster County, PA here, down to the Texas state of mind. When I want to know what the French is going on, I listen to the Crackpots and the Buzzkill.
This is Eric, man. I drove down 3 hours from Dallas for this protest, but it's more like a party. 2 meals later.
This is Gog, man. I was like to say I support mandatory mask requirements only if they're made of leather and only in certain clubs.
Hi, this is Ann. I'm planning the No Agenda post-pandemic party while we sit here at the No Agenda meetup.
This is Circadic Mass, keeping safe. You'll edit it. We'll edit it and post. Damn it, we'll do it live.
In the morning, John and Adam. This is Josh Magnuson from Austin. I have nothing witty to say, but I am totally triggered. And Black Baron, signing out one more time.
In the morning!
All right, beautiful crowd. Sorry I couldn't be there. I did a 4-hour episode with Mo Fax, so it did not come of it. Here's what's coming up on the noagendaprotests.com, noagendameetups.com calendar for this coming Saturday. Toronto No Agenda Peaceful Protest Super Spreader event at 6 o'clock. See the website for details. Also on the 19th, Quebec City Carol and Troll. That'll be 11 in the morning. Chocolate showed. And festivities at St. Roch. Okay. On Saturday, Tiny Amygdala of Anchorage, 1 o'clock Alaskan time at Matanuska Brewing, Midtown Anchorage. Also on Saturday, Flight 010 of the No Agenda, Garden Grove. And that will be indeed in Garden Grove. Wow, it's all on Saturday. Nashville Noel Agenda Meetup, 6 o'clock at the Party Foul downtown. Valet parking, tip your valet, says Rich B, who's organizing. And the Western New York Meetup, Stay Negative, 7 o'clock at Bucket Bar, Odessa, New York on Saturday. And what else do we have in? Not much else in December the 27th, the Very Fine People Meetup in Charlottesville, Virginia at the Trump Winery. That should be a hoot. And for more, for January, what's on the horizon for our No Agenda meetups, where you can hang out with people who won't trigger you. You won't trigger them. You can just have a good time, crack some jokes, sing some songs, talk about better days, and just have a good time with people. We really and know that you're privileged. Really are privileged in these days. Not many people get to find people they can just hang out with and just chat with and not be worried about stuff. So go take your privilege to noagendameetups.com. And if there isn't one near you that you can attend, well, by golly, why don't you start one yourself? Noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Yeah, baby. I got a Brexit update.
Oh, good, because I don't have one.
Yeah, so they went into overtime in the negotiations, and they know they're not going to make it, and so they are going to push even a little bit further. The president of the European Union's Ursula von der Leyen came out, and she looked a bit demure, but she feels like at least we're trying. And remember, any one of the 27 Euro states can veto this deal, so it's highly unlikely, considering it's about fish, that the final dispute. It's about who's
getting vetoed now. Pre-vetoed.
The Brits already have their warships out to protect their waters.
Fish.
Yeah, it's about.
They're going to block the people fishing.
Yes, they're going to block people from fishing. Here's Ursula.
Despite the exhaustion after almost 1 year of negotiations, and despite the fact that deadlines have been missed over and over, we both think that it is responsible at this point in time to go the extra mile. We have accordingly mandated our negotiators to continue the talks and to see whether an agreement can be reached, even at this late stage. The negotiations continue here in Brussels.
Well, no one thinks it's likely they will come up with any kind of deal, which would mean a crash out, no deal Brexit. Here's Bojo.
We're going to continue to try, and we're going to try with all our hearts, and we'll be as creative as we possibly can. You know, we remain willing to talk. We'll continue to do so, but in the meantime, let's get ready for the WTO option, and that's what I told the cabinet.
WTO, babe. That's it. Going World Trade Organization. Going outside. And you know what? I guarantee you British residents will not be allowed into the European Union until the COVIDs is over. They'll be shunned because, you know, there's going to be a lot of bad blood.
I think so.
I think they're really going to be mean.
Well, the EU, you mean?
Yeah, the EU's going to be mean. They're going to be like, no,
I think they're going to be mean. Yeah, I agree, because this is like a humiliation of the highest order.
Kind of. You know what's humiliating? I'll tell you what's humiliating. So I told you we went out Saturday night downtown. And I was excited because I'd been downtown with a dinner on Tuesday. And I said, Tina, you're going to love it, man. It's beautiful. It's all Christmassy and everyone's all jacked up about it. And as we're driving across the First Street Bridge, there's City Hall is green. City Hall is illuminated in green. And I thought, is that what they're doing for Christmas? Is that their thing? Well, no.
Austin City Hall is all lit up tonight to commemorate the 5th year of the Paris Climate Agreement. It's an agreement between more than 100 countries to achieve net zero carbon emissions by the middle of the century. Now, President Donald Trump pulled the U.S. out of that agreement, but leaders with the city of Austin say they're still working to reduce carbon emissions.
So they virtue signal with the green light. Brother.
That's a classic.
It's like, hey,
we don't even do that.
What are we going to do? Let's turn on some green light, man. That'll do it.
No green lights in California.
Green light. Douchebags.
Come on, you greenies, get out of here.
I got a really
move to Texas.
I got a depressing clip, as long as you have something to go out on a high note.
I do have one. I have the Hitler supercuts.
Well, that can't be depressing. Let's play that first. That's going to be great.
This week,
this is all about Trump.
82 years ago, Kristallnacht happened. It was the Nazis' warning shot across the bow of our human civilization after 4 years of a modern-day assault on those same values by Donald Trump.
I'm going to use an extreme example. Think about Hitler. So many stunning,
parallels to what Hitler was doing.
In describing Hitler's psychological profile, and this only pertains to Adolf Hitler,
there is so much that is resonant of the Third Reich in this administration.
Many tendencies like Adolf Hitler.
Does this look like Germany in 1932?
We're getting close.
And this only pertains to Adolf Hitler and pertains to nobody else.
90% of what he says, I'm like, this guy gets it.
If you've read anything about the rise of the Third Reich and Adolf Hitler, you will see the parallels.
Donald Trump is a true psychopath. He's like Hitler or Stalin.
That sounds a lot like a certain leader that killed members of my family and about 6 million other Jews.
Of how Hitler came to power. He came to power under fair, free elections.
Talking about Adolf Hitler, that's all we're talking about here.
Sing along!
Donald loves Nazis. Donald loves Nazis. CNN say that he's KKK, and he shouts Sieg Heil with it. Wow.
Hey! There you go. We always knew it. Did you hit upon a supercut database or something? I'm
on a supercut roll.
You just landed in some beautiful pile of supercut. This is a very distressing clip from CBS. The show is called, I think it's The Neighborhood. Yes, The Neighborhood. And as you know, in most of these big Hollywood productions, we have the Norman Lear.
Well, I know that show very well. I'm going to explain the premise.
Oh, thank you.
A white, kind of a liberal white guy, young white guy, older millennial, moves in with his wife into the middle of a black neighborhood.
Bro, okay.
And his black neighbor is a jerk. And the white guy is just this naive guy who loves everything because he's a lover, not a fighter. And he's just the most optimistic guy, and he sees everything great, and he thinks it's fantastic to live in this black neighborhood because it shows what us great white liberals are really like. And comedy ensues. It's a comedy.
Yes. Well, here comes a great comedic bit. Now, here's the scene. I guess they have a kid, at least one, a younger kid, and this kid's friend who lives in the neighborhood. And so the kid is white with the white family. His friend is black, and he was arrested by the police or harassed by the police. So the white mom has to sit down with the white kid and have the talk.
Organized one after, Trey got beat up by the popo. Oh. Hey, I know there's a lot going on right now. You want to talk about it?
I don't understand why the police beat up Trey. Did he do something wrong?
No. The police are the ones who did something wrong.
But they're supposed to be the good guys.
Yeah. But there are some bad ones, too.
So, if there's ever an emergency, should I still call them?
Oh, yeah. Of course, sweetie. They would never hurt you.
Right, because I'm a kid.
Actually, it's because you're white. You see, the police in this country have a history of treating us better than they treat black people.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that?
That's a good question. But the answer is kind of complicated.
Uh-oh. That's what you said when I asked where babies come from.
I find this so despicable.
Yes, it is. I don't know, despicable is even the right word for it.
And basically, just threw all police all across the country under the bus. Like, oh yeah, it's just because you're white. It's like we got a history of that. This is how it is. This is Norman Lear Hollywood Foundation crap, man. That's what this is. Shoved right into the narrative. Oh, I was thinking.
I disagree.
Oh,
I don't
really?
think this was. I don't think it was necessary. You don't have to go to Norman Lear to pull that stuff out of it.
Well, I agree. That's true.
This is just a Hollywood crap, a bunch of virtue signaling douchebags who decided to do this, and it was the regular staff. I'm sure there was no input from anybody outside. In fact, I think if there was, they would have had him back off a little bit.
Yeah, because it was a bit too much. I agree. All right, now I need something happy because I'm depressed about this.
Well, I got a 3-parter here if you want to hear about gay Christmas.
Oh, yes. Let's roll. Yes, I do. Correct. I do want, and just so you know, don't say to me later, we were too long.
Well, you're the one who asked for the additional material. Yeah, I'm going to say we're too long because we're too long.
Well, then don't you have a single clip?
No, this is 3 clips.
Okay.
It's a 3-parter. I mean, you can just play part 1, and I think would be good.
Well,
I also have a Rand Paul rant on Lynn Cheney, which has been floating around.
No. I want Gay Christmas.
I bet you do. Okay, so let's play. Now, this is from the CBC, and this is from the reporter, the guy who's the reporter seems gay to me, but I don't. What do I know? And he also said he separates the gays from his group, which is us.
Oh,
but apparently, I said apparently. I said it. I heard it. I caught it.
Us versus the gays. I hear. Okay.
Us versus the gays. Uh-huh. And what is going on is that Hollywood's decided to make Christmas gay. Oh. And so they've rolled out a bunch of gay movies and everything, all of these Christmas movies that are all starting with the one movie with Kristen Stewart and it called Happy Holidays or something. I can't remember the name.
I didn't get the memo about the Christmas being gay this year.
Well, get a clue. This is CBC, Canadian Broadcasting.
A whole new crop of Christmas movies, LGBTQ films, released for this holiday season. Part of a trend that caught Eli's eye. So he's back with us from his home, getting set for his holidays and looking to these holiday offerings. As I said, it's a whole new landscape, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So Happiest Season really kind of kicked off this discussion. There was a time a few weeks ago I couldn't open Twitter without being just like enveloped in a discussion about who Kristen Stewart's character should have ended up with. How did Harper behave? I mean, people had so many feelings about this film, and it seemed to really strike a chord in an audience, certainly wider than just LGBTQ. And so this, which was originally released on Hulu and streaming in Canada, turned out to be quite the success, and also, I think, part of this new wave of content that we're noticing in the traditionally very traditional holiday genre. And so other films that are popping up under the mistletoe this year, Christmas House from the Hallmark Channel, featuring a gay couple. It's a very big change for the channel. There's Dashing in December on the Paramount Network. There's the Christmas Setup on the Lifetime Network. Now, I reached out to Kristen Baker in Nashville. She's the producer and director of a couple of holiday films made for queer viewers. Last year, they made a movie called Season of Love, which got a great response for their audience. She was getting a lot of her customers saying, we want to see our own selves in these Christmas films. This year, they're releasing I Hate New Year's, but a lesbian couple in Nashville. And what she was telling me is a part of the need is like we have had a lot of great, powerful, dramatic movies with gay and lesbian storylines, but they are quite serious, and there was something that was missing for her audience.
I can almost see the Hallmark Channel commercial. This year, celebrate in style with the Hallmark Channel. We've got Twinks in My Tree. We have, are you sure this is eggnog? This is great.
Oh,
this is fantastic.
Okay, well, let's listen to what this producer has to say. This is clip 2.
Their unrequited love, their, I can't be with you because society tells me that, or I'm coming out, but my Mormon parents are going to hate me. And, it's all of that we absolutely experience. And some people still experience that. But I think what was also missing was sort of this classic, tropey, fabulous, happy love story.
Everybody wants their serving of holiday mush. These movies are comfort food, and why shouldn't gay and lesbian audiences be able to enjoy that like the rest of us? That was really what she said, is we want our happy endings. We want our fun, cheesy stuff. No one is saying that this is Hamlet, but they certainly want to see themselves represented in the genre along with everyone else.
So is that, that desire to see that Hollywood, that Hallmark moment, is that really the explanation why the change and the broader industry change, Eli?
I mean, from the audience, yes, but from the industry, I think actually, interestingly, it's a business case and a convincing one. So I talked to GLAAD CEO and President Sarah Kate Ellis. This is the Gay and Lesbian Advocacy Group. And what she has noticed is a real big shift. You look at the demographics in America, for example, I think if you look at like 18 to 34, you're seeing as much of the population as 30% identifying as LGBTQ in one way or another.
Wow.
Now, if you look at representation on television, it's changing, but in terms of characters on screen, it's still in single digits. But what Ellis was telling me is what really has changed for the creators and the producers and the executives is a shift in that business model and what now makes sense. Take a look.
Is he saying 30% of the audience is gay? Is that what he said?
In the millennial demographic.
You know, Tina and I, we saw the trailer for that movie with the two girls. As he said, "Oh, lesbian love," but it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't it was about her coming out or not. It wasn't your Christmas miracle type movie, and there's multiple storylines of love, and it just wasn't that. It was all about coming out. Very stressful. I didn't like it at all. I can hardly imagine anyone liked that one. It was just weird.
Is this the one with Kristen Stewart?
I don't remember.
That's the hot movie that's triggering a lot of this.
That's the new one. Let me see.
It's a comedy.
You know what I think? I think that is the one because we saw it. What is the name of this one though? Yeah, I think that's the one. Well, it just looked boring. It didn't look like a fun, and I don't care. It was two women. Who gives a crap? But that's not the story. It's not a Christmas story. It has to be. It's about coming out, which I understand is something very important, but it wasn't to me. It just really wasn't a Christmas movie. The happiest.
Well, you want to hear the last clip with
might as well.
Guy interacting with the GLAAD woman?
Yes. Oh, come all ye faithful.
In the past, it was risky to show LGBTQ.
No, I don't think that. Hold on a second. I don't think it was all "Come All Ye Faithful" as the Kristen Stewart movie.
No, that's my new movie that I'm putting together for our gay holidays. Hello.
In the past, it was risky to show LGBTQ people in their minds because it could cost them business. And now what they've realized, because of the population growth, because of the younger generation, because it's been proven time and time again that it is actually a really good business model to be diverse and inclusive, they're realizing that the real risk is leaving communities out.
And, Sarah Kate Ellis was reminding me that it was just last year that the Hallmark Channel, they had a commercial featuring a same-sex couple at a wedding, and it was pulled down because there was a backlash, and they removed it, and then they apologized for the removal, and she had to explain to her children why that commercial was pulled from air. And then contrast that
Stop the clip.
to just a few weeks.
That is bull crap.
Okay.
Have you you raised a kid? I've got kids. Yeah. I've never heard a kid ever say, "Hey, mommy, daddy, why did they pull that commercial?" First of all, why would they notice?
Never.
It's a bull crap story. This is the CBC lying to the public, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
No kid ever says, "Hey, why did they pull the ad?" Well, the kid wouldn't know they pulled the ad. And why would the kid care? It's an ad, for God's sake. So let's back it up and go. Sorry, I just couldn't take that. I couldn't take it.
Can I ask you a question? Is Kristen Stewart, is she gay? Is she lesbian?
Yeah.
She is? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh. She came out like a couple years ago.
Oh, okay. So that's why she's allowed to act in this. I was just wondering. Okay.
Well, she brings this up, by the way. I know what you're going with this, which is why are we allowing straight actors to play gay characters?
Yeah.
She brings up the fact that she's actually wise in this regard. She says we can't really adopt that policy because if we won't let straight actors play gay characters, then we can't let gay actors play straight characters.
Yeah, good luck with that argument.
Removed it, and then they apologized for the removal, and she had to explain to her children why that commercial was pulled from air. And then contrast that to just a few weeks ago, where Sarah Kate Ellis and her wife and her kids got out the hot cocoa, got out the cookies, sat down on the couch, and watched Happiest Season with these big fancy Hollywood stars. And I asked her what that felt like. Take a look.
I literally couldn't believe it. You know, I mean, having grown up LGBTQ, I think oftentimes we haven't really known what life was going to be. We didn't see a path in a lot of ways. And I would have never thought that moment would have ever existed if you asked me at 21. And so it was kind of amazing.
What a difference, a bit of a sea change that we're seeing. And that's not to say the work is done. You talk to creators, you talk to critics. There's still more that needs to be done in terms of people of color in these films, kind of a wider spectrum of characters in these LGBTQ storylines. And that's the challenge, that when you only have a few of these films, they have to kind of shoulder everything. They have to represent all things for all people. But as we get more, we'll start to see more of those issues solved on screen, and everyone can enjoy their mistletoe mush.
Okay, again, it's a bad movie. It's not a good Christmas movie. They missed the mark as far as I'm concerned. They really missed it.
They're gonna this missing the mark is going to continue as long as identity politics sneaks into the movie industry. And like he said right at the end there, because he's all in on this idea. Oh, well, you know what? We got to get some black gays in there, too.
Oh,
we got to get some Chicano gays. We got to get all these different kinds of gays. We can't just have white gays.
You're not the right gay. You're a wrong gay. Oh, my goodness. You're right. It's too sad. It's sad. It's sad that's happened. Look, I'm a sucker for a great rom-com Christmas movie. This was not it. It had nothing to do with the sexual orientation. It was the storyline. I want Kris Kringle.
That's Kris.
I just want Kris Kringle.
Kris Kringle has to be gay.
That's right. Hey, note to self for next year. Dana, call Dana. We got a great movie. Kris Kringle is queer.
Sit on my lap, little boy.
Okay. All right. I'm shutting you down now. We've had quite enough. Remember that we do have another show coming up on Thursday. It's going to be jam-packed, no doubt. So make sure you support us by going to Dvorak.org/NA. Up next on the No Agenda stream, Fletch and Dame Blaney will be bringing you Hog's Story. And since we've got a little bit of time left, 2 end of show mixes Jesse Coy Nelson and Archimedes Johnson. I think you'll like them both. And coming to you from Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State, here in Opportunity Zone number 33, FEMA region number 6 on the governmental maps. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it rained like a son of a bitch last night, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday right here on No Agenda. We expect you to be here. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos! And such.
I never forgot what President Kennedy said about going to the moon. He said we're going, you know why? Because we refuse to postpone.
He has no brain.
Let's not postpone and get out of the rain. God bless you all. Thank you.
He's quite insane.
I took on Putin in terms of in terms of what was going on in Ukraine.
True international effort to pressure.
He wasn't really elected.
Elected president by acclamation.
Massive voter fraud was detected.
It's a right for people that bad at care.
His son's a real creep.
Rub my leg down.
The swamp is pretty deep.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
And then watch the hair come back up again. True international effort to pressure.
Why not include members of the Biden transition team as part of this summit that you're hosting today?
Well, we're going to have to see who the next administration is, because we won in those swing states and there was terrible things that went on. So we're going to have to see who the next administration is.
We have put together the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
Why you text him? Why? You're getting nervous, man.
Today, thousands of President Trump supporters gathered in the nation's capital. CBS's Jeff Pegues was in the crowd.
Including the recently pardoned former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. This is the president's loyal base.
When you have constipation, unlike hard stools, a soft stool is easy to pass.
True international effort to pressure.
Welcome, everybody, to a brand new program on the Pod Show Network, which could be titled a number of things. We chose No Agenda, but it could be the show with no imaging, no... what should we call it, John? Agendaless show. Agendaless show, exactly. Agendaless show.
McEnany mic drop, Reverend Manny money shot, ITM you will obey, China owns the NBA, noodle gun, orange man bad, mac and cheese douchebag, fear is freedom, new world order, little girl, yay! Drunk or not drunk, don't ref. Don't send blankets, send your cash. Adios, mofo. Farming with Monsanto. Here's the deal, come on, man. I love bugs, butt slam. Don't torture me, kind of love millennials. Stay woke. Listen to No Agenda. The best information for the slaves of Gitmo Nation. Listen to No Agenda. It's 2 times a week when John and Adam speak. Dimension A, Dimension B, RASPICT. Job, let's vote for jobs. Look, it's true. Zika, poo map. Jeb Bush, please clap. Climate change, Klobuchar sounds pretty good. Shut up, slave Epstein. Carnal with the goat scream. Terrorists in Gitmo. Adams in the Cludio. Bitcoin at the world's end. Judge needs to bomb them. No. Sleepy Joe. Boogity, amen. Listen to No Agenda. The best information for the slaves of Gitmo Nation. Listen to No Agenda. It's 2 times a week when John and Adam speak. Fact check, false clippity clop. Coincidence, I think not. YouTuber and banjos cried. We saw that he died. Nice names, parents too. Oh my God, can you see that juice? Susan, Ben, and Bernadette. Contradiction is true. John C. Pet Peeve, NJNK War and Peace, Deutsche Welle, Don Lemon, WTCC7, PCR test threshold, Biden gave the whole load, Fox News run by Democrats, Wuhan flu didn't come from bats, NPR, milieu, glitches in the voting booth, COVID vaccine, Rob Reiner's Twitter feed, Zephyr Cow, Chase Lounge, John, turn your mic down, Seth Rich, Common Core, I can't take it anymore. Listen to No Agenda. It's audio method since 2007. Listen to No Agenda. 1301, but they still go on and on and on and on and on
and on. The only thing it is 2 guys with an idea of putting together a agendaless show. Agendaless show, exactly. Agendaless show. Go. The
best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Have they ever met a lesbian?